live.
Sounds good. No, I can't see. I only see the media
But they
page.
can hear you right now. So
Oh,
hold on
sorry,
a second.
Okay,
Hold
yeah.
on a second. Guys, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to see the Tundra. I mean, we've been waiting for over a decade for this new generation of the Tundra. We're going to go over specs today. But, I can talk about the vehicle at length by myself, but I'd rather have a dialogue with a very special guest. David Chao is here to join us today from Automotive Press. His channel is just taking off like a rocket. David, how's it going?
Hey, thanks so much for inviting me, Kirk. This is an amazing, exciting day, right? I'm just so excited to be with you and all the fans to do with Tundra, and wow, this is shockingly exciting. So I can't wait to talk about the Tundra with everyone, but also to learn about the Tundra tonight. So what a day! I don't think I can sleep tonight. Um, I,
You'll sleep well. How about that?
yeah, so we're very excited. We want to thank everyone for showing up and to have the dedication to learn about Toyota and Tundra and to learn from us. I mean, that's very honored to have you guys, and we're very thankful to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Where are you guys coming from? I always love asking at the beginning of the stream. D Dub says I'm out clickbait at 9 o'clock. That's when the embargo ends. D Dub. So it's not clickbait. I promise you. You're not going to find another channel that has as much passion and knowledge about this truck. At least pre-embargo than the two of us here. So we're really excited to finally share. Oh my gosh, yeah, people are typing in the chat where they're from, and I believe my dad is actually tuning in today. I don't know if he's here right now, but Dad, if you're watching, thanks for coming out. The Chiefs are up already, so I'm okay with that. And the Chiefs and the Ravens, this is the game Toyota decided to choose to debut the Tundra tonight for us. So at 9 o'clock, I'm assuming that'll be they'll have a commercial break somewhere around 9 o'clock. It might actually be earlier in the football game than it is. But the trailer they're going to show in the football game is going to be very cinematic, very inspiring, but it's not going to talk about details of the vehicle. But hopefully we can watch that cinematic video that they're going to show in the football game. Hopefully we can show it on the media page as you guys can see. So I'm going to refresh this page when it gets to 9 o'clock. It should have all the updated information that we're finally able to share with you guys. So
there's just going to be so much to share, right? I'm not even sure how we're going to talk coherently and logically with so much information coming through the pipeline. But hey, it's funny, right? We had like almost nothing for like 6 months as we continue to talk about Tundra, and suddenly, wham, we're going to have so much information. So, people asked for it, and we're going to give it to everyone, right, Kirk?
Yeah, we're happy to deliver it. Absolutely. No, this is cool. This is the first time. I think David's done a live stream. Is that correct?
No, actually, I've never done a live stream. It's the first
time.
Yeah,
it's the first time. That's awesome.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm excited for you, and this is actually the first time I've done a live stream with a guest. So it's definitely an honor to do it with a legend like yourself, and it's going to be fun going forward.
Yeah, well, I love working with you, Kirk. So we don't do enough of it, and of course, Tundra is the right venue to do that, right? So thank you for inviting me.
Totally. My pleasure. No, I'm happy you're able to make it out tonight. We're on totally different ends of the continent. David's in Vancouver. I'm here in Southwest Florida. It's complete opposite ends, but we're able to make it work because this is bringing us together from all parts of the globe. So it's really exciting. And I just want to give a shout out to Mike Wellington. He threw me $5. He's happy to join tonight. Mike's been a longtime follower of the channel. He's also has gone to auto shows before, especially in the Chicago area, has given us images of a lot of Toyota products and Lexus products along the way. So he's definitely, I don't know, he's been a part of the channel, you could say, for a long time. So thanks again for that, Mike.
We have almost 1,400 people watching now, Kirk. So it's the excitement is here, right?
Yep. The excitement is here. That's for sure. And I'm looking at my watch here. We have about 25, 26 minutes until embargo ends. And I'm keeping my eyes glued to, well, I'm trying to the Chiefs game, because on one of these commercials, they're going to show the Tundra. So
Yeah.
I
So
just don't know when it's going to be.
is it supposed to be the halftime or something? When is that? Do we know when the halftime is?
I have no idea.
No. Okay. Okay.
I have no
Uh,
idea.
So I wonder if Toyota will begin to show something like a few minutes before 9 p.m. Eastern time, or is exactly knowing Toyota is probably exactly at 9 o'clock.
It's going to be, yeah, knowing Toyota, it'll be really, really close to 9 o'clock. But due to how football games work, and the unpredictability of sports, it'll probably be 9 o'clock plus or minus 5 minutes. That's just my guess. Toyota Jeff, sorry, hold on a second. Toyota Jeff, I met him at the Tundra event. He was able to make it out, and he was on a different heat. He just threw us $20.
Oh, there you go.
So, Toyota Jeff, legendary. Like, guys, if you enjoy my content and you enjoy David's content, Toyota Jeff is, he's been doing Toyota stuff longer than I've been doing my channel, I'm pretty sure anyway. So head over to his channel and make sure you subscribe to him, because he's always providing really good information. I love his videos comparing different trim levels. So his specific knowledge of Toyota definitely outweighs mine, especially when it comes to the retail side, specific packaging options, things like that. So if you guys really like to geek out about Toyota, head over to Toyota Jeff. He's got a great channel, well respected, and he's really funny too. So his video goes live at 9 o'clock as well. So you guys are going to have plenty of different outlets to check out the new content coming out in the next probably 2 to 3 days. I have content coming out. I know David's going to have a lot of work ahead of him. The Canadian, there's a border, as you guys know, between the United States and Canada, and there's different press teams between the United States and Canada for all the automakers. So, David wasn't able to make it down for the Tundra event. I know you really, really wanted to make it, but I'm sure you're going to have some expert analysis in the coming days with the Tundra.
Right. Yeah, I wish I was able to join you there, but it's a little hard to travel right now with the travel restrictions. But that's okay. We get to enjoy the launch together, and I have so much more stuff to share in coming days. So I don't know how people's going to decide what they're going to watch, because every channel is going to have like 10 videos this week, right? It's going to be like a Netflix series here. People's going to have to binge on Tundra stuff.
It's going to be a binge. Absolutely. I just finished my fifth video today on the Tundra, and they're not I'll be honest, like, they're not the most in-depth. We only had an afternoon with the Tundra, and they gave us lots of information, dumped pretty much all in like just a couple hours. So my videos are not going to be the most in-depth, but hopefully you guys enjoy them. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say. So a couple shout outs real quick. Jonathan Ratliff, another $5. Thank you so much. And also, David, do you have any more giveaways, or are they all claimed now?
Right. No. So, well, first of all, I'm picking the names for the giveaways on September 30th. So you guys got whatever 10, 11 days to make comments. So if you go to my Instagram account, which is just Automotive Press, and there's a link on the description as well. And there is a post that talks about the Tundra and the giveaway. Just make any comments there, and then on September 30, I will just randomly pick names to give away. So I said I'm going to give away some caps, some hats, and some backpacks. Now, originally I said I'm going to give away 22 hats and 10 backpacks. I'm going to increase the stake here and give away 22 Toyota caps, which is original Toyota caps. And I'm going to give away 22 backpacks. These are backpacks that I designed and built a few years ago. And they're sold out, so you can't buy them right now in Amazon. But so I'm going to give them away. It doesn't matter where you're located in the world, I will ship it to you. So it's just a way to thank everyone and to celebrate this amazing success of the Tundra, and also to thank you so much for being part of my channel, because I hit 22,000 subscribers about a week ago. So it's 22, and Yeah, and Kirk
Yeah,
likes the number 2 too. Also,
I do.
it's a
I'm a
lucky
big
number
fan.
for Kirk.
And
So
of course, it brings us together on the 2022 Tundra as well. So it's
yeah, so
amazing.
so I'll give away 22 hats and 22 backpacks. Just go to my Instagram account, subscribe, and make some comments. And in about a week and a half, I'll give it away. And I'm gonna ship some to you too, Kirk. So you let me know how many you want for your
Hey,
kids, and I'll ship
hey,
them over to
yeah.
you.
I'll give you my address so you can creep on me and come on down and spit. I have an extra room. This studio is an extra room. I don't know if you guys can see. There's my spare bed. So whenever you and your wife want to come down, and when you're able to, I know things are difficult with the border and the current times we're living in, but when you're able to, we'd love to have you for some tropical weather instead of the rainy stuff that you get up there.
Thank you so much, and
So,
vice versa, right? You gotta come and visit me in
oh my gosh, I'd
Vancouver.
love to. Yeah, you
Yeah,
love fishing. I'd love to go out fishing with you.
I
It'd be
will take you
amazing.
fishing. Yeah, just I think it was 2 days ago we caught a 25-pound salmon. So
Oh, yum.
um, so I
Oh
need the
my gosh,
Tundra
so
to put
jealous.
that salmon in the back of the truck.
Yeah. Get
So
a nice. Do you have what kind of coolers do you use? Do you have Yetis or what kind of coolers?
I have a Yeti, but I just use like a normal cooler because the Yeti doesn't have that much space. Like they're
They,
super
yeah,
solid, but it's so thick, right? The whatchamacallit,
very. Yeah,
so it doesn't have much
I
space. I
hear you.
just use a regular cooler, but
Yeah,
yeah.
a regular cooler definitely gets the job done. Toyota Jeff reviews again, giving us $10.
Oh
He
wow.
says he's like quadrupled upped me right here because I have one video going out at 9 p.m. tonight. He has 13.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I mean, if that Dave was talking about binging earlier, you guys are gonna have so much content to go through in the coming days. You're not gonna know what to do with yourselves. Julio Zapata says, "Good afternoon, Kirk. Congrats on all your new success and adventures, and congrats on likewise to David as well." He said, "God bless to you and your family. Maybe you can make it to LA Auto Show." Well, thank you so much, Julio, for the kind words. And auto shows, some of the other YouTubers out there, when I get a chance to meet up with them, they talk about auto shows a lot. It's not that I'm disinterested in auto shows. It's just that it's a lot of time away from my family that I don't necessarily need to take. So, I try to, if you guys are not familiar, I have 4 little girls, and I try to make it to the big press events for new products. Obviously, the Tundra being one of them, but an auto show. Yeah, I think things are slowly moving away from big reveals happening at auto shows due to what happened in the past year and a half. So unless I feel like I'm really called to go an auto show, I probably won't. But one day I probably will make it out to the LA Auto Show because it's so iconic and it has a great history behind it. But yeah, thanks Julio for the donation there.
Yeah, it's nice and close for me. So hopefully, if I can cross the border safely, I'll try to get out to LA Auto Show
Yeah,
this year.
it's just down the stream essentially.
And next year is Tokyo Motor Show, but that's in the fall. But
Well, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I can go to that. I wanted to go to last falls, but obviously that didn't that didn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah, we got canceled and everything. But
Got canceled.
yeah, but actually in January there is a Tokyo Auto Salon. So Kirk, I don't know if you can make it out, and I'm not sure if I can
Oh
go there because they're not
no.
accepting foreigners yet. But I'm gonna try to go in
Well,
January.
yeah. Let me know. Yeah, just we're always in contact, so let me know how that shakes out with because yeah, I know that was canceled last. It was supposed to
Last
be
year. Oh, actually,
last year
they
too.
had a virtual class, virtual auto
Oh,
show
that's right.
last, but it was kind of useless. It was like
Yeah.
it wasn't the same, right? So
No, definitely not the same. Real quick, Vientis. I cannot pronounce your last name. Thank you for the $20 donation. Holy cow. I need to find a way. I'll probably Venmo David or something because David deserves a lot of this as
oh no
well.
no no, just keep it for your kids' school fund, Kirk. This is
Well,
all yours.
it does. You guys, so if you guys don't realize, all of you viewers not only help us pay the bills, but literally in my case, you help put food on the table and clothes on the backs of my children. And I can't thank you enough. Like you guys help me live my dream, and I'm happy to talk about cars with you on live streams. And yeah, thanks again, David, for coming out for this live stream, because it's amazing. So we got about 15 minutes. Tyler Watson, $20. He says, when you got a 21 Tacoma not long ago, and the new Tundra comes out. Oh, okay. So he has a 21 Tacoma, and he's face palming himself because he says the new Tundra is coming out pretty soon. So I feel you, man. But hey, in today's market, it's a seller's market. So your Tacoma probably appreciated in value since you bought it. So don't worry too much. Don't worry too much. But thank you so much for the $20. It's amazing. EP, also $20. He said, shout out to Kirk, Automotive Press, TRD John, Toyota Jeff, Tundra Dude 34, Drivers Gallery, Untamed Motors. I love all your channels. Thank you for all your hard work, research, and excellent reviews. Thank you so much. I mean, obviously he gave David a shout out as well. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, the viewers are so generous. I can't believe
they are so generous.
You guys are so amazing. Wow.
I'm behind. Yeah, I think people are just really excited, and David's helping he's just a lucky guy. He's bringing in all this cash for my kids. So I appreciate it. Charles William, he says, well, he's throwing some Canadian dollars my way. $10 Canadian. There you go. Yeah. So thanks for the great content and passion you share with us Toyota heads every day. Thank you so much, Charles. Jonathan Ratliff again, he asks, what is this about a new LX potentially having a V8 as an option? David, go ahead and talk about that.
Right. So, our belief is still that LX will have the twin turbo V6, same as the Land Cruiser engine, because it shares the same TNGA-F platform. But the last two publications from Best Car Magazine, and Best Car Magazine is, it's not the most accurate, but reasonably accurate with their news and with their leaks, are claiming that in Japan, at least, Lexus is reconsidering all the powertrain and are putting in the V8 engine into the Lexus LX. So I'm not 100% sure if that is for sure going to happen. I would give it 50-50, but they're not stating as a speculation, they're stating as a fact. So it's a little hard for me to believe, because the V8 engine is being canceled out of the Alabama factory here in the US in a year or two. But maybe they're going to keep on producing in the Tahara factory where it is being produced right now. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, it's not too far away. I think by December, we're going to get some kind of not leak, but official photos from at least the Japan side. And so in about a month or so, hopefully I can call some of the Japanese dealers in Tokyo, and they'll probably let me know what's going on, because they'll hear about it first. So I know I wish the V8 is coming back, and I think that will be exciting. Not sure yet. So I will give it a 50-50 chance that's going to happen. Hey,
Toyota just released all the stuff, so we need to get into this. I'm going to play this. This is a Born from Invincible. We're over at the Tundra Toyota landing page, and I'm just going to play this. I've seen it partially before, but it was pre-production, so here we go.
The all-new Tundra.
That video, I saw pretty much that right there, and I still have goosebumps. I saw it, a couple of weeks ago, and all the nostalgic vehicles they showed. Marty McFly's Toyota pickup truck. They had Land Cruisers with kangaroos jumping around them. They had the FJ. I mean, that vehicle or that video, I can't even talk straight, is just incredible. So David, that's the first time you saw it. What do you think?
Oh, that's amazing, right? The audio didn't come through as clear on my end here, but I'll have to watch a couple more times. But it looks like a professional cinematic video. So it's like you said, it's kind of give you a goosebump a little bit, and especially for us who's being wanting to see everything to do with Tundra. So I'm so stoked. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited as well. And I just saw we have a special guest in the chat right now. Our good friends at Lexus Enthusiasts are here to hang out with us tonight. A special thanks also to Gills T for the $2 spot and Planeta Tierra $2. Thank you so much. And we have a lot to talk about. There's a huge gallery here of images. And, you know, here's the thing. This is what I've learned with so many, doing live streams of so many of these events, whether it's Toyota or Honda, etc. They try to time all these things. They have 100 different things to time at the same time. And typically one of them always jumps the gun, or one of them's a little bit late to post the information. They're just doing their best with trying to juggle a million different platforms. So here we have so many different images here. We have the white TRD Pro. We're going to go to the next image. I don't know exactly what trim this could be, like a limited trim. That's what it looks like to me, or with the panoramic roof option. You think it's a platinum?
I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's definitely limited or platinum, I guess, one of the two.
I don't see the window shades on it, so that's why I'm thinking it might be a limited. This is definitely the platinum. This is a platinum grill. I call it the dragonfly catcher.
I remember we saw those grills in one of the prototypes that was running around.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. One of your renders was really close to this, right?
Yeah, it's very close. I'm glad that it was guessed correctly.
Okay, so this is a new color. With Toyota posting everything, I think I'm at liberty to talk about these things right now. I would assume. So this is a new TRD color. We've seen it in leaks before. We also saw on the teaser yesterday. It's called Solar Octane. And that's the first time I've spit it out without stuttering and trying to remember what the name was. It doesn't roll off the tongue for me, but this is the TRD color for the Tundra for 2022.
Now, is it the same as the supersonic red in the
no.
Camry? No, it's a
no,
different
it
color.
is not. No. Actually, the supersonic red will be available on the Tundra, but it is definitely way more orangey than the supersonic red. But yeah, here's an interior of the TRD Pro. We've seen hints of this already. We've seen the red interior in that teaser image that they showed us, but this is our first view of it from this angle. I love this on the dash here. What do you think of that 3D lettering?
Yeah, nice, cool.
Not sure what grade this would be. My guess would be platinum or 1794.
It's got the chrome tailgate handle and everything, right? Yeah.
There it is. I'm assuming it's, well, this looks like it's hard to tell with all the reflections what color it is, but here's the mesquite color, I think is what they call it. So this is a limited. There you go.
There's limited. That's the magnetic gray, right? The gray, I think.
So yeah, this is confusing because this looks like the platinum grill cover or the grill. And then this image here is a limited. So we saw a couple images back, the guy with the fly fishing reel. So that's a limited truck right there. So this is the same truck.
I think so.
And that is the 14-inch screen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so it's bigger than the 12.3 inches that we thought might be the case. It's bigger than the Land Cruiser screen, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's great to see. I'm excited for it. It's really snappy. It's really responsive. It's the exact same thing as the Lexus NX screen. That's what I'm aware of. The Lexus NX is going to have a 14-inch optional screen, except the NX screen tilts. They call it the Tizuna cockpit. It tilts a lot more towards the driver, where this one's definitely more neutral. So the passenger has access to it as well.
Yeah, it's got the shelf on the top and everything. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. You got this little basket here with the 12 volt in it. Yep. Towing capacity. I feel like, well, Alex on, is it 9 o'clock already? Alex on Autos just posted a video, so he's jumping the gun, but probably because this is already
Out. Yeah.
already out there. But I'll just, mine's on schedule, so I'm just gonna leave it. So here we have the Trd Pro. We actually had this image, but with the solar octane color, iForce Max. So this engine, it's like it's not an engine cover. It's like just a decoration. If you get the hybrid is called the iForce Max, as David and I have speculated for a long time, ever since they trademarked it. I don't know, a couple of Februaries ago. So I think that's it on what they've shared so far.
Did they also upload all the spec now, like which engine for which model?
Here we go. Yeah, we're scrolling down. Can you see it now, David?
Yes, yeah, we can. Yeah.
So here we have, with the iForce Max, the hybrid. Notice I have the battery icon here denoting the hybrid. 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. Really, really close to the numbers that Dave and I have been speculating about for a while. And I have the spreadsheet pulled up. Don't worry, guys. We'll go into the spreadsheet at some point tonight. The standard, the standard engine, the 3.44 liter V35A FTS has been retuned. We see it produce 416 horsepower, I think 444 pound-feet of torque in the Lexus LS 500. Here it produces more torque, but at the sacrifice of a little bit of horsepower. And that's what you need in a truck. It's not necessarily about horsepower in a truck. It's nice, but it's all about torque.
Well, that's good. The hybrid's pretty good, pretty impressive power and horsepower, and torque, right? And the towing is 12,000 pounds. I was saying like 12,500. I was hoping for 13,000, but I knew that was kind of wishful thinking. So, yeah, I guess it's close to our expectation, right, Kirk?
It's really close. You know, we saw leaks, and I can bring up the spreadsheet real quick. We saw a leak that had some really aggressive numbers on it: 480 horsepower and 642 pound-feet of torque. That doesn't, I mean, yeah, that's not what we got. But Dave and I, we had a conversation earlier, or I guess it was yesterday, talking about how tunable this engine is. And that could be a possibility in the future. So the battery is a nickel metal hydride battery. I don't have the dimensions or the absolute volume of it in terms of kilowatt hours. But it sits underneath the rear seat, as well as a 12 volt. The 12 volt sits underneath the rear seat as well. But I mean, you know, Toyota's going to be working on a plug-in hybrid eventually. They've already said that they're working on a fully electric version of some sort of pickup truck in the future. They haven't announced whether it's a Tacoma, Tundra, 4Runner, whatever. So, I mean, this is what we have here. And stacking up against F-150, it just narrowly beats it out. And as far as I know, the Tundra's engine is on 87 octane. I'm almost positive on that. So here we have it beating it out just by a little bit on torque and just by a little bit on horsepower. David, do you think Toyota did enough with these numbers?
Right. Yeah, I was kind of expecting the non-hybrid. What's the non-hybrid? 389, right? I was thinking that it might be 400 or more, but because they wanted to increase the torque, I suppose it makes sense in terms of trying to market the hybrid and the non-hybrid in such a way that there's enough power and torque difference between the two. So that's totally understandable. I was thinking that just for marketing reasons, they could have hit 400 horsepower on non-hybrid and maybe upwards of 450 on the hybrid. But maybe you don't know, they might be keeping some of the engine upgrades for a few years later. When they do a refresh, or maybe in 2 or 3 years they might upgrade the engine a little bit. So maybe they're keeping some of that for that future release, perhaps. So, yeah. I mean, it's totally within my expectation, but I was hoping for a little bit more, though, to be honest. But that's okay. I think, like you said, if it's going to run on 87, then it makes sense. If you put 91 or 92 on it, it might actually generate a little bit more power and torque, anyways. So the numbers will go up. But since the requirement isn't for high octane gasoline, so yeah, then it makes sense in terms of power. So
Yeah. So,
interesting.
and another thing, we don't really know what it makes to the wheels either until people dyno these things. And I think it's classic Toyota. Just do enough to be right up there at the top of the segment and retain your reliability. First and foremost, that's their most important thing. Obviously, make money is their number one, but reliability is one of the ways they make money. So,
They haven't released the fuel economy yet, right? I don't think.
no,
No.
nope. I have no idea on fuel economy other than what I've heard from really reliable sources, which is 27 to 30 miles per gallon on the hybrid.
Right.
It's a 10-speed automatic, just like we've been guessing. And the hybrid, they made a motor in between, or electric motor in between the engine and the transmission. It's technically a part of the transmission.
Right. Now,
So
did they show which models will get the hybrid? Is it only on the TRD Pro or on other ones too?
great question. I believe it's platinum 1794. So it's optional on those. It's standard on the TRD Pro standard.
Okay. Right.
So if you want the TRD Pro, you have to get it in hybrid.
And the TRD Pro is going to be a few months later, right? I think I'm hearing March for the TRD
Yeah.
Pro, and the rest
I
will
mean-
line up in December or something.
That's a strong likelihood. I mean, here's the thing. Toyota's, when I was there, they didn't say anything in terms of availability. They didn't say anything in pricing or fuel economy, pricing or package. Like that's how a lot of these manufacturers do it. They announce most of the specs up front, and then some of the things are still working out. They'll announce it at a later date closer to launch. I still don't know what launch is. So
I gotta decide whether I think most people know I'm gonna trade in my 21 Tacoma TRD Pro for Tundra, but I haven't decided if I'm going to buy the TRD Pro Tundra or get a Platinum. So I'm kind of undecided yet. So, but I'm looking forward to that.
You know, the TRD Pro is really cool. We saw a lot of those teaser images leading up to tonight with, the skid plates and the Fox shocks and things like that. We have a lock-in rear differential on the TRD off-roads as well as the TRD Pro. So that's pretty cool. I don't think we've seen that on a Tundra before. I could be wrong.
But not in the front, right? Only the rear, right?
Only rear lock-in differential. There's not a center differential lock or a front differential lock.
That's too bad.
But it's better to have, I guess, one in the rear than none at all, I guess.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Now, anything on the four-wheel drive? Are they going to give us the full-time four-wheel drive option, or I don't think so, right?
As far as I know, there's a 2 high, a 4 low, and a 4 high if you have a 4x4 model.
So it's a standard system then, not like the GM system where you can just click it onto a full-time four-wheel drive mode. So I didn't think they were going to offer that. So okay.
Oh, right. So we got some updates on the Toyota newsroom here. I'm going to click this one because I think this is a press release. The previous one, I believe, was the video we just watched. So we're going to go. We haven't talked about this yet. So the MID is a 4-inch, like a 4.3-inch standard, like typical Toyota. We've seen a lot of Toyota Lexus products. They also have a fully digital MID with a 12.3-inch screen behind the steering wheel that is optional. I think that's optional on Unlimited, and I think it's standard on Platinum 1794 and TRD Pro. So this is pretty cool. Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 active, and it's stayed standard on all grades. So that's really good to see. And I could read through this press release, but I'll probably just point out the most important things. We've talked about 12,000 pounds of towing, but that's going to be on like a rear wheel drive SR base model that's really, really light. But most of them, when I was talking to Toyota, I'm like, well, how much is that going to drop on something that's fully loaded, like a Platinum or something like that? They're like, well, it doesn't drop much. It'll definitely be over 11,000 pounds. So you're not sacrificing that much towing depending on the grade you get. And a lot of people that I don't tow, I don't know a lot about towing, to be honest, but a lot of people that I've talked to, they're like, well, if you're towing 12,000 pounds, you should be looking at an F350 or something like that.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. payload capacity is just under 2,000 pounds. David, what do you think about that?
That's pretty good. So I was estimating 2,000 and was hoping for like 2,200. But that's pretty good. That's more than what I expected. Yeah, if it was like 1,500 or 1,600 would be really disappointed. But that's, I mean, 1940, right? Round up to 2,000. That's actually quite impressive. So yeah, I'm glad they got that up to a higher number for sure.
Yeah. I'm definitely happy with that. So switching, we've talked about powertrains at depth already. Another thing I want to talk about, we know about the panoramic roof. You can get heated and ventilated front seats, rear sunshade. I saw the rear sunshade on the 1794 and the Platinum model. There's a heated steering wheel, which is actually pretty good. I found out that, well, and it's also pre-production. The heated steering wheel on the Limited that I tested was mostly on the back end of the steering wheel, but it was pretty good all the way around. So that's good to see. It wasn't just like on the sides or the top that you see in some models. Let's see here. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is standard, and over-the-air updates. And this is a big departure. So with, I guess it's called Lexus Interface. It's what they're using. We saw it debut on the Lexus NX. This is a Toyota interface. It is all subscription based. So Toyota wants to find a way to make money off of updating the navigation in their cars. And I talked to a Toyota rep when I was sitting inside of I think it was the Limited with the TRD off-road package on it. And go ahead, David. Do you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, the interesting thing, the inside story about the new Lexus or Toyota interface is designed by a subsidiary of Toyota called Toyota Connect. So I was in Texas at the head office a few years ago to get certified to become what they call Scrum Master. It's kind of weird terminology, but it's to do with a new business language called the Agile Thinking. And there was a guy there who was he was like, I think director level, who was teaching and certifying people to to learn this lean agile method. And so they were using that new methodology to create this new software. So at the time when I was there, they were working on this software, and they were saying that it's so different from the way they used to design and build software, because they're touching base with an actual customer on a regular basis to get feedback, and they keep improving the software to make it as user-friendly as possible. So, and as you know, all the current software on the Toyota models are kind of so-so, right? They're not very good.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're really bad. Even like just trying to add like your Bluetooth phone is so awkward. So I'm hoping this is going to be way better, because I met some of the team members that was designing it, so I don't know. Did you get to play with it there?
I did.
Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah, I would say it's just as responsive as my cell phone, or pretty darn close. Obviously, my cell phone is like a 6-inch screen or a 5-inch screen compared to a 14-inch screen. It's really responsive. I mean, when I pulled up, I'm not an Apple guy. I don't have Apple phones. I never will, unless, I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, I had Apple CarPlay pulled up, and it was amazing. The icons were huge. Like, even if you don't have Apple CarPlay up, since Toyota has fought a touchscreen, well, at least Lexus has fought a touchscreen for a long time, and implementing software that should feel natural on a touchscreen. This new interface, the icons are huge. They're really easy to touch, and it's really fast. That's all. What else do you need? You need fast and you need intuitive, and Toyota's nailed it. So
it's about time, because all their software was not very good. So
right, it's about time.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
So, quick shout out, Mike Wellington again throwing me $5. If he can score a good deal on a 2022, he'll buy or /order one. He's nervous about anything turbo, but we will see what options will be there. Yeah, I know, Mike, you've been saying, reliability is probably going to be better on the 5.7 liter, and it's hard to argue that. Definitely hard to argue that. But yeah, David, what do you want to say? You had a whole video on this, right?
I know I did 2 videos, right? Well, actually, I just did one, I guess. I'm going to do another one. No, I did 2. One is why is it safe to buy the first year of production Tundra? And I did another one on how you might be able to get a million miles on the turbo and why turbo is safe. Like there's so much stigma attached to turbo engine, but people don't seem to realize that turbocharged design and technology is so different today than even from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep saying, hey, it puts additional pressure on the engine. It doesn't add additional pressure. The turbocharger is doing all the work. And because it's actually picking up the extra power and torque, it has less stress on the engine. It's the turbocharger system that causes problems sometimes, not the engine, right? So the engine itself is a proven engine. That 3.444 liter engine is absolutely proven engine. It's just it's just the idea whether or not the turbocharger will last whatever 500,000 miles. But you have to realize they put this engine in the Land Cruiser, right? And Land Cruiser is going to be like in the most difficult parts of the world. They're going to be in Australia, in Africa, you know, in
Saudi
Middle
Arabia.
East, and where there's, you know, it's sandy, it's got dust everywhere. Like if they didn't put the V8 engine in the Land Cruiser and they chose with the same engine, it's going to be super reliable. There's no way they would have not tested this to the limit. And I talked about the fact that they run these engines 24/7, 7 days a week for like month and month and month, equivalent of about 3 to 5 million miles until the engine dies or the turbocharger dies. And then they break it apart and they figure out what's wrong and they fix it. And they would have been doing this for about 3-4 years before this engine is released on the Tundra. So yes, it's more complex than 5.7 liter V8, but that V8 had problems too. So it's not, you know, people are thinking that engine was the most reliable. No, it was not the most reliable engine. So
no, they've had better V8s.
Yeah, exactly. That engine had actually quite a few different problems. So I don't know, I can't say for sure personally what's going to happen to the twin turbo over a period of, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, but it's going to be way more reliable than you know what people are used to hearing about turbo engine. It's not like the normal turbo engine people think. It's not the same anymore.
Well, I mean, even if we're talking about Ford here, the EcoBoost engine is proven to be fairly reliable, and we're like Ford and Toyota reliability are night and day. And I've talked to people who swear by the EcoBoost V6s. You know, they've gotten hundreds of thousands of miles out of the turbos, and if Ford can do it fairly reliably, you know, Toyota can do it extremely reliably. There are going to be, of course, exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you can't. It's going to be hard to put your money on a more reliable vehicle than Toyota, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think some people are commenting about this engine in the Lexus LS, right? Because they had problems when it came out in 2018, but that's almost 4 years ago. And you know, like in terms of the amount of energy and brain that they use to fix things in 4 years. 4 years is a lifetime for Toyota when it comes to problem solving. They would have ironed out every possible problems. And I was one of the, you know, team members who was involved in this Kaizen concept, right? Which means continuous improvement. And like we work crazy hours. When I was working for car companies, variety of different car companies, but especially Japanese ones like Toyota, I would work 16 hours a day because we're fixing problems all day, sometimes 6-7 days a week. They won't let this engine be on the Tundra if it wasn't truly reliable. I know not everyone will agree with me, but I think I know more about the behind the scenes situation than most. And I'm very confident to say that it's going to be the most reliable turbo engine to ever come out in the auto industry. That's my belief anyway.
Yeah. And I've had people comment on the channel about the old Forerunner, the old Hilux Forerunner Surf.
Right?
That had a turbo engine on it way back in like the 80s. And yeah, they had other problems happen before the turbos had their issues. So like they had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on it. And I think that vehicle is still running, the one guy who was telling me about it. He's like, there's nothing to worry about Toyota and turbos. They were doing it pretty dang well 2, 3, 4 decades ago. And rest assured things will be better now. So.
And honestly, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, no one knew how to build a reliable turbo. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but it was really hard to. But things have changed a lot. The reliability testing, how they test engine and how they test the even the whole car or truck, it's changed a lot in the last 5 years because of artificial intelligence, other simulated technology. We can simulate things way more accurately than we used to be able to in computer. So most people don't realize like durability testing, endurance testing, all this stuff, stress testing are done inside the computer now. And of course, we still do it on the physical part, but we can
You have to,
estimate,
yeah.
yeah, but we can estimate a lot using computer now, using artificial intelligence. So it's just the whole automotive industry is not the same from 10 years
No,
ago, right?
it always changes. It always changes. And I've been out of the sales industry for, I don't know, a little over a year now. And yeah, it's still, the sales end is always going to change, just like the development side as well. Special thanks. I'm trying to catch up to the comments here. Noodle-san, 9-minute Tundra video posted on Toyota USA YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna take care of themselves as well. But I mean, you guys are just gonna have a smorgasbord of videos to sift through. So thanks for the $5 there. I'm just trying to catch up. I know there are more. Mike sent us $10. He says some points I'll disagree with there, but he's speaking from experience. The EcoBoost is not reliable. Too many issues on the list, but Toyota is a better. Yeah, I mean, there's a night and day difference between Toyota's iForce Max and Ford's EcoBoost. I'm not saying it is the most reliable engine, but I said it's fairly reliable. And if Ford can make a fairly reliable turbo engine, Toyota can absolutely make a rock solid turbo engine.
The other thing I think is, people are commenting, okay, you can't test everything in the computer, right? But Toyota has this really neat program called the 5 Continents program. So what they do, and I have a really good friend who's in that program. So every year they go to one of the continent, they fly like a whole team of engineers, production people, designers, and even marketing and salespeople, and they stay in that continent and travel thousands of miles for weeks and weeks. We're talking about, I think the last event they stayed I think it was Asia was the last one. And they stayed there for like a month and a half or 2 months. And they have the whole lineup from Hilux to Land Cruiser to 4Runners, and they drive in convoy in the worst possible condition through jungles and through desert. And then they just basically abuse the heck out of these trucks or cars. And they keep running them for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when it breaks down, the engineers have to figure out what's happening. Why did it break down? Why didn't these break down in Japan or somewhere else? And they have to fix it. And they do this for like 2 months every single year. So they went to Middle East, Asia, Europe, and then they were supposed to do something, I think, in North America sometime. But again,
they got canceled because of COVID, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so they actually do a lot of on-the-road testing, of course, within the test track. But this 5 Continent program is very new because they wanted engineers to be out there in the real world in the most difficult places and test them out. So if you just type in, 5 Continents Toyota program, you can read about it on YouTube too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Special thanks to Antoine. He's been a paying member of the channel for a long time. Like Antoine, he was also on Top Chef Amateur. He made a great dish on that show. If you guys are able to pull it up on Bravo, you can find Antoine's episode up there. But he sent me $20. Thank you so much. He said he was filming recipes and he decided to check in. He says, "Happy Sunday." Absolutely happy Sunday to you as well. And definitely check out his channel. If you, I think it's Cooks with Twan, unless it's, I could be butchering that, but I think it's Cooks with Twan. If you guys are into like cooking YouTube or Instagram, yeah. If I'm wrong, Antoine will put it in the list for you guys. But he has a pretty successful YouTube channel making delicious food. So I think I'm fairly caught up with the donations at this point. And again, thanks to everyone who's come out tonight. I don't care if you're a member or a subscriber or not, whether you've made a donation or not. Thank you so much for coming out. David and I are just so excited to be here with you guys to share this amazing truck. And we haven't even got through a lot of the information about this new pickup truck that is the 2022 Tundra. I've had this highlighted for a while now. the Crew Max, the larger 4-door variant. There's no 2-door Tundras. So you have the double cab, which is a shorter 4-door, and then you have the Crew Cab, the Crew Max, I mean, that is the larger 4-door. The larger vehicle, or the larger 4-door, comes with 2 bed options, a 5.5 and a 6.5 foot bed. And then the shorter 4-door, I know it can have the 8.1 foot bed. I don't think it can have the 5.5 foot bed. I think it's just the larger bed options for the shorter cab, if that makes sense. The all-new Tundra will go on sale later this year. Pricing will be announced closer to the on-sale date. So we've mentioned that as well. So I'll pause right there and let David talk about that if he wants to. So.
Yeah, so I guess we're not going to find a lot of the pricing and also for us. So, but the interesting thing is we get the crew cab with the longer bed, right? That's the new with the 8 foot bed, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's new because that's something people have been asking for, like
the double cab is what it's called. Yeah, they call it a double cab.
The full 4-door one, not the shorter one, not the.
No, the shorter one only gets a 5.5 and 6.5 foot bed.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But yeah, so whatever Crew Max, I guess it's called the Crew Max. With the full size 4 doors, never came with the 8 foot bed before, and that's something that people asked me a lot in my channel. I don't know why people need such a long bed, but I suppose if you're going to buy a full-size truck, you might as well maximize the spacing. So yes, you can now get 8 foot bed with Crew Max, which is, I think, is a big deal for some people.
Actually, I don't think you can get it on the Crew Max. I think it's only on the double cab.
Oh, really? But wasn't there? Okay, maybe I thought there was. So I don't know about the spec right now, but remember we saw some spy photos that had the Crew Max with the 8 foot bed, but it's not available right now. Then I don't know if that's going to come out. Then I wonder.
Let's see here. Double cab models will be offered with the choice of a 6.5 foot bed or an 8.1 foot bed. Crew Max models, the larger 4-door cabin, will be offered with either the 5.5 and a 6.5 foot bed.
Okay. So we're not going to get that. Okay, but we still get two bed length with.
You get 2 bed options, and I don't believe the 6.5 foot bed was previously available on the Crew Max, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yeah. So, that's a good question. I can't remember now, but so at least you get the two length.
You get options on both, whether you get the short cab or the big cab. You still have bed options, which is really cool. Special thanks to Alyssa Pipe. She says, she's from Plano. She loves the channel. Looking forward to see people in the new Tundra. I mean, you probably see lots of test vehicles. People in your area have been testing this new infotainment out on the roads for a long time now. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for tuning in from Texas. In Plano specifically, headquarters of Toyota North America. Also, special thanks to Raghu Billa. I could be butchering your name. I apologize for that. $10. Please keep doing same for future releases or leaks for Toyota family, Kirk and David. Of course we will. But I think that catches us up with some of the donations there. But let's just keep scrolling through some of the information here. A lot of design talk in here. Yeah. I
wonder if people like the design. A lot of people, with some of the sneak photos and teaser photos were saying they don't like the front design. I wonder if people still feel that way because it looks different now, right? Well, in the real world.
So here's a crazy thing. Each trim option has a different grille. Each trim option has different paint for that grille as well. So if you don't like how it looks with one front end, you might like how it looks with a different front end. The Platinum looks very different than the Trd Pro front end, and they're both going to be very expensive trucks. So, I mean, you're going to have options if you are picky about how the front end looks. And, I mean, people have hated the front end of Lexuses for years, and they're still the top 2 or 3 luxury automaker in the United States. It hasn't hurt their sales at all. Even though people express their disgust for it, they're still buying them. So...
Now yeah, some people are commenting about suspension and stuff. So it's coil spring in the back. Leaves are
Yep.
gone. We already
Yep.
knew that from before. So that's nothing new there.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I think the other interesting topic people were asking before was the exhaust tip, which if it's on the driver's side or passenger side. That was also another interesting topic. I don't know if they show that.
It's 100% driver side.
Yeah. So
it's a single tip exhaust. It's not a dual exhaust. So single tip, you have an option of a chrome plated tip as a either a factory or I'm pretty sure that's a factory option. I saw that on the 1794 model. You can the TRDs come with a dual tip behind I guess it would be the rear left wheel, and that has a really cool finish to it. It's kind of like this powder coated black or dark gray, with TRD emblazoned on it. It's a really cool double tip. So if all you can see is the rear of the truck from the TRD Pro, you'll see a double tip on it. You'll also see TRD Pro embossed into the tailgate. So
now the interesting thing though is the reason why people was making such a fuss about the exhaust tip, the location on the non-TRD Pro, is because usually the exhaust tip is always the opposite from the driver's side, and it's also away from the what we call the street side. So traditionally speaking, the exhaust tip is on the passenger side, because in the old days, if you have a street cleaning or a snow plower that goes by, they don't want the exhaust tip to be covered up. That's why it's on the other side. And I don't know. For some reason, they put it on the driver's side. I think it's mainly to standardize for a TNGA F platform, because Land Cruiser is on that side, obviously. So I think they chose to just standardize on the same side because it's the same platform.
So this is an interesting segue. So I'm watching the Chiefs game. I'm a Chiefs fan, by the way, guys. So you can either love me or hate me for that. But I grew up close to Kansas City. Anyways, the commercial right now for the football game show the Chevy truck with its flippy tailgate with all the different like you can bend it this way, you can flop it this way. It's like a transformer of a tailgate. Toyota has decided to stick with what works. They have sticking with a traditional tailgate. It's very, very light. I've lifted it up many times. With just two fingers, or just kind of like I'm way out to the side of the pickup truck and I'm just able to lift it up with my arm. Like it's extremely light. So they say it's 20% lighter compared to the outgoing model. And on all models, as you can see here, this is what I forget about since I didn't have the key fob. It's easy to forget about. It acts more like a lift gate on a crossover. There's no mechanism to open the tailgate that's physical. There's a button that's underneath the handle, and it's similar to how Lexus is doing all of their doors in the future, especially with the new NX. Those handles actually don't move. They're all digital. I don't know if there's a mechanical override. I should have asked that on the tailgate, but there's just a horizontal rectangular button underneath the handle for the tailgate. You just touch it and it goes down. But on the key fob, just like on my minivan, you can press the button to open the lift gate. It opens the tailgate on your key fob as well. And there's also a button equipped on some of the models, on the higher models, that's embedded into the left rear tail light. And that button allows you to just, it is a button. It's not like a sensor. And you hit it with your elbow, your shoulder, your hand, and it opens the tailgate. And the tailgate drops really, really quick. But it does have a soft resting place. So it doesn't just like clunk down. It opens quick, and then it kind of slowly rests at the bottom. So I'm really excited about that. David, do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, actually, even on the 21 Tundra, the tailgate is pretty light. Like it's actually way lighter than my Tacoma. The Tacoma is super heavy.
That's crazy.
It drops down in a clunk, but on the current Tundra, the 21 or earlier, the tailgate is actually super light, and it's soft open, right? Like you say, it doesn't clunk open. So if they made it 20% lighter, then the current one will be feather light because it's already very light.
It's like I said, 2 fingers. I was able to lift it up, no problem. The bed and the tailgate are comprised of some lightweight materials here called SMC, sheet molded compound with reinforcing aluminum. You really don't even need like an extra liner in the bed because it's lined with this really heavy coating, or heavy duty coating, I should say. So, yeah.
You can't, so it's probably similar to what we have on the Tacoma, right? And so you can't put
it
those,
is. Yep. 100%.
Right?
Yep.
So you can't put those, those people like to put bed liners, they spray these thick stuff on it. You cannot put it on the composite, and you don't need to, of course, because it's not going to crack anyway.
Right.
But some people try to add additional bed liners, but you can't do it on these.
Yeah. That reminds me of when I was working for Lexus. Some old time customers would come in and they would be like, well, how much is undercoating to put on it? It's like, well, it's undercoated from the factory, and Lexuses they just don't rust. I mean, I see 30-year-old Lexuses on the road that look pristine, well, especially down here in South Florida. But yeah, anyways, undercoating isn't going to do anything.
No, that's like the biggest gimmick, I think.
It is.
I hate to say it, but it's totally unnecessary.
Nowadays especially.
Nowadays, yeah. On older cars, it helped.
I agree. Special thanks. So we got some donations coming in. Matador Fitness. I remember my fitness days. I have a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Anyways, hello guys. David from Pittsburgh, California. I didn't know there was a such thing. What do you think the warranty will be on the new Tundra? My thought it should be longer than the previous years, 3 years. It's probably going to be 3 years, 36 for comprehensive, and then on the powertrain it'll be what, 448? Is that what it is?
448, I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's no reason for them to change it, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah, but since the hybrid is now part of the equation, the hybrids are warranted for like 10 years, 150,000 miles for the battery. And I think the hybrid powertrain equipment is like 8 years, 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hybrid system itself has a longer warranty than a normal warranty. I think it was 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
so
that should stay the same.
Yeah, I think Toyota does that to reassure buyers, like, hey, our hybrids are reliable. I know there's more going on in theory, but they're extraordinarily reliable. So I think that just gives people who are new to the technology some peace of mind, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have another donation again from Andalib. I'm gonna butcher your name, Andalib Dananda, $10. I think he sent a couple of those. So thank you so much. Oh, he also has another $10. Thank you so much. He says, I was hoping to see the front locker on the Trd Pro as well. I guess I will wait till the 2023 Lexus LX 600 reveal. Well, it might be a 2023. I'm expecting it to be a 2022, but it depends on the supply chain and everything's getting pushed back. So, I mean, I guess it's possible it could be a 2023 LX 600, but I'm expecting 2022. David, what do you think?
Right. So it's supposed to be out in Japan in December, or at least some kind of release in December. But I heard that it's the actual physical delivery of the LX is pushed out by about 3 to 4 months. So we're not going to see it until potentially March, April timeframe. So at that point, it'll be a 23. So depend on whether they would announce it in 22 as a 22, or they're going to announce it in this year, but release it in spring and therefore label it 23. So it probably will be 23 by now because of the delay. I think if there was no supply chain issue, they would have been 2022.
Yeah, totally. Chris Tripp, $5 donation. He says, keep it up. Yep, we're going to keep it up as long as we can tonight. I have to wake up early for a trip for a press. It's a first drive for a vehicle that you guys will see eventually on the channel. So I can burn the candle a little bit at both ends because this is exciting. So David, how's your evening looking? I know it's a lot earlier over there. So
yeah, I'm lucky because I'm 3 hours earlier than you, so it's not so bad for me. It's only 6:30 p.m. and so we've been at it for about an hour, I guess. But did any more information come out? Is this all the stuff that we have then?
Well, this is a really long page.
Oh, really long. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
we're
okay.
only like a quarter, maybe a third of the way through it.
And did they release all the trim levels, like which trim has which options and so forth, or?
They talk about, if this is the same press release I have, which is a good chance, they do talk about trim levels. Okay. But instead of looking through here, I can kind of give you guys an idea. I don't know exactly how equipment works per trim level. I think that's still going to be ironed out, or it hasn't been communicated yet. But there's an SR, there's an SR5, there's the Limited, there's the Platinum, there's the 1794, and there's the TRD Pro. Now you can also get TRD packages on the SR5. One of my favorite pickup trucks in the event that I had the pleasure of walking around with was the SR5 with the TRD Sport, and it had the Lunar Rock paint color on it. And that thing was, I think it was my favorite pickup truck there. I'm not going to lie. Like it just looked so good. It had cloth interior, go figure, it's an SR5, but it had, and I don't know if this is going to make it a production or not. It had the 360 camera system on it, and it had the 14-inch screen, which seemed like pretty high-end options for an SR5. But David, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Right. Yeah. So the interesting thing is there's a difference between the US and the Canadian spec. So in the US,
that's true.
Yeah. So you guys have SR5 with TRD Sport or TRD off-road options, but in Canada, it's actually a model or trim called the TRD Sport and TRD off-road, and then they have eliminated for 2021 the Limited model, and instead they've now called the TRD Sport Premium and TRD Off-Road Premium. Those replaced the Limited in the Canada, but in the US, they kept the SR5 with the TRD options. So there now some of the spec that leaked out earlier about a week ago showed the premium option. So I think if you get, I know this is confusing, but if you get the SR5 and you get the TRD Sport or TRD Off-Road package, then you can add another premium package, I believe, which is what gets you some of those higher end technology and stuff like the 14-inch. So I think that's how they're breaking apart. But I guess we won't know until Toyota releases the full trim option details, right? Which not sure if it's all in here or not.
Yeah, we'll get to more about the trim level options, but this is a great question by Tim Russell that I want to talk about, because I asked this specific question during the Q&A during the official, well, I guess the behind the scenes unveil at the Tundra event. He says, "Why is it not using a lithium battery?" I raised my hand. I'm like, okay, what they didn't even say in the release. I'm like, they didn't even say what kind of battery they're using. I'm like, okay, well, what's the size of the battery? Is it nickel metal hydride? They're like, yes, it's nickel metal hydride. They couldn't confirm the size on it. And later when I asked them, I'm like, well, what's the reason of not going with lithium ion? Because it's superior in almost every way, not every way, but most ways. And he said, well, number one, it comes down to cost. We're able to keep the cost of the vehicle lower. And number two, they're really good at, they've been producing nickel metal hydride batteries for a long time, starting with the Prius, and it does well, and especially in cold weather compared to lithium ion. It has a little bit of an advantage there. There could be some advancements with lithium that's improved it, but it's a little bit better with extreme temperatures. And when it comes to mass production of a battery pack right now, lithium is the hot item. And we know there's a shortage in everything. Toyota, with their supply chain with nickel metal hydride, is pretty solid here. So they went the conservative route, and they're still able to produce industry leading, segment leading power numbers with a old battery. And I asked about the bipolar battery that they developed recently with the nickel metal hydride for their Aqua, which is the Prius C. They just came out with the new generation of it. I made a whole video on it. Anyways, that allows a lot more voltage out of the nickel metal hydride chemistry. So that even if in the future, with like a refresh or something, they're able to update the nickel metal hydride battery with a bipolar battery for the Tundra, that will produce a lot more electric zip to the vehicle in the future. But hey, with old technology that's cheap right now, they're still at the top of the food chain. How long, we don't know. And of course, you have the extreme examples of the Raptor and the TRX, but Toyota's not going for that. They're going for mainstream.
Yeah, there's no clear no question that a nickel metal hydride is much cheaper to produce, is safer, it's proven. The supply chain is easier to deal with right now, and they're going to keep the lithium ion for more of the higher level models that will come out in the future. So it just makes business sense, and also technology and engineering wise, it makes sense as well. It's just really hard to get these batteries right now with the supply chain issues. So I don't blame Toyota for staying with the tried and true, right?
Right. Yeah. Mike Wellington, again, throwing a $5. He says nickel metal hydride, just like we said, it's cheaper, proven, can discharge and recharge in cold temps way better than lithium ion. So people say solid state, and I can go down that route if you want me to right now. But real quick, solid state batteries will be coming to Toyota hybrids in the future. We just don't know when. 2025 at the absolute earliest. So
I think it's about 3 years away, I think. Yeah.
Do you think it's even faster? So 2024,
3 to 4 years away, I think. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're still a ways away from that. But Toyota surprised us recently with their what was it, 2 weeks ago, saying that they're gonna be putting solid state in their hybrids, which I wasn't expecting, but it makes total sense because that's their vision of their near future, anyways, is hybrid. So it makes sense.
Well, the question is, I think lots of people are going to ask when the fully electric version of the Tundra or the Prime will come out. So that's a good question. Toyota did say they will have a fully electric truck by 2025. We expect that to be Tundra because it just kind of makes sense to be a full-size truck, not the Tacoma. Who knows? But whether it'll be called Tundra EV or it will have a different name because of the Beyond Zero program, that's also a little hard to say, right, at this point. But it'll be kind of pretty exciting to see that. I did put a deposit, if you would believe it. I know people think of me as 100% Toyota, but I did put a deposit because it's only $100 on the Ford F-150 fully electric truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm going to buy it, but I did put a deposit on it. I do also have a deposit on the Tesla Cybertruck. I think people will kill me if I said that.
No, that's awesome, dude. No, well, if you only enjoyed Toyota, then you would be extremely biased because there's so many, like, the amazing thing in the auto industry and life in general is variety. We have so much variety in our lives. And if you can't appreciate the wealth of the variety and the abundance of it, even in the auto industry, then you're a little narrow-minded and short-sighted, in my opinion. So, David and I have talked at length about all sorts of other auto brands, and sometimes when we talk, Toyota is not the main subject. We like talking about other car makers as well. So,
yeah, Toyota makes amazing products, but they're not the most interesting cars for truck to drive. So, and you and I both love cars, and so sometimes I tend to gravitate toward the other brands. I had a Alfa Romeo Giulia 2 weeks ago as a press car, and I know that car has so much problem. It's nothing to do with Tundra, but it was such an amazing car to drive. I kept thinking, why can't the Japanese replicate this? It's better than the TOX, better than Lexus IS in terms of driving fun. But it will probably break down every 3 months, right?
That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And maybe 10, 15 years from now, the Japanese will be able to produce a vehicle that's reliable and drives like the current exotic, well, I should say import cars. Alfa Romeo is not exactly exotic, but when you put that, I guess almost reallocated Ferrari engine in the quadrifolios, that's insane. So,
it's crazy, yeah. But it was it's the way that the steering feels and the way it corners. That's not, the Japanese just can't quite figure that out yet.
Yeah.
Even nothing to do with nothing to do with Tundra, but even like on MDX, the steering feel just isn't right. It just doesn't feel right, and compared to like the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. So That's the
Right.
one. That's the thing about European cars. We criticize them for reliability and so forth, but you know what? They still drive better.
They drive better, and their markets are different. I mean, you think of Europe and the roads they have there, windy and mountainous. You also have the Autobahn, and so these vehicles need to be able to perform very admirably on really high performance real world tracks. Not like a closed course track like a Laguna Seca or something, but actually perform in the real world like a sports car or sports SUV. And the Japanese know that they don't have a big foothold in Europe, and they know that a lot of their cars are for durability purposes as well as for different markets that don't require absolute performance, and they would rather focus on other attributes per se. So.
All right. I wonder if people are happy with what they're seeing, right? In terms of the
Right.
spec, photos. Do people like it? I wonder.
Yes, we can start asking the viewers. I mean, like I said, I'm only about a 25% through this press release, and you guys can go over to the Toyota Media page if you're really into the geeking out of it. But I think Dave and I would probably rather go and answer your questions than going over the monotonous details of the new truck, which we know most of it by now. So. David, I don't know. Would you agree with that? I was kind of speaking for you there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry. There's a bit of a delay in the actual live stream compared to you and I talking. So hopefully I don't miss out any questions coming out. But yeah, if people have questions in general about Tundra or anything to do with Toyota stuff, we'll be delighted to answer. This is all about you guys, and we're here to help you guys hopefully get some answers.
Well, here people are starting to talk about the Tundra Prime, which you know they've been playing with it. There's no way they haven't with the advent of electrification, like it or not. So if the hybrid battery right now, well, it's nickel metal hydride, but if it's positioned underneath the rear seat, which by the way raises the height of the rear seat, so you have a little less headroom, but I still had a couple inches of headroom on the hybrid models, by the way, at 6'1". So it should be fine for most people in the rear seat. Anyways, where are they going to put this battery if it's a plug-in hybrid? It's got to be at least the 18.1 kilowatt hour battery that's made by Panasonic that we see in the RAV4 Prime and the NX450H Plus. It's got to be at least that big. Where are they going to put it?
It's a good question, but I mean, try this. For example, my wife has a RAV4 Prime, right? So she loves it. In fact, we have two RAV4 Prime, one for my wife, and we have one in our company fleet. And you know, in the RAV4, also, I mean, the space is so limited. It's just amazing they were able to squeeze that in there. There's definitely more space in the Tundra, so
that's true.
It's also body on the frame, right? So the body sits a little bit above the frame versus the unitized body, which is, you know, basically there's just one body. There's no separate frame. So it's a lot more challenging to squeeze anything into a unitized body like a RAV4. So on the body on frame truck like Tundra, I don't think it's going to be a problem, because plus, you know, one advantage of the Prime is that it's not fully electric, so the battery is not all that big. It's relatively manageable size, so they can squeeze that in a Tundra. I think the more difficult question is the fully electric Tundra. If it's going to be a Tundra, that's going to be a way harder to figure out.
I don't know. I have more issues with the plug-in hybrid than I do with the fully electric. I think if Ford doesn't have any issues modifying their current F-150 platform for the Lightning, in the future they'll have a dedicated platform for the fully electric Lightning. Ford can do it. I mean, Toyota will find a way to make it every bit as efficient, actually more efficient than the F-150 Lightning. I guarantee they'll do it. I don't know about as powerful in some of the top of the trims, but they'll make it more efficient. What I struggle with is the hybrid, and the reason is when I go to over here, comparing it to the F-150 and the USA spec Tundra, how is a 67 horsepower, that's what I'm estimating based off the numbers we have, how is a 67 horsepower motor with 128 pound-feet of torque supposed to run on fully electric this pickup by itself?
It's not possible.
Hybrid.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
No,
What are they going?
It has to be way bigger than that. So, but it's a good. Yeah, this is strictly for a hybrid, right? So on the Prime will be. You're talking about the Prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Prime will be a very different setup, though.
How so?
There's not just. I mean, in terms of the size of, I don't think they're going to stay with the same motor size. That's my belief. It could be different. But.
Well, the problem, I guess, I mean, they probably figured it out, but the issue is this motor is now connected into the transmission housing. So in terms of,
but they don't have to use the same motor size though, right? If we do end up with the Prime, we might not get the Prime. They might go fully electric. So there could be a hybrid. True. I have a feeling that they're not going to do Prime. My feeling is that's going to be the hybrid that we have now, and then fully electric truck. I think they're going to skip the Prime because it wouldn't make any sense to have a Prime and the fully electric one. It just, to me, it wouldn't make any sense. So I have a feeling they're not going to do the Prime on the Tundra. That's my
to be honest, like that makes more sense to me because I've been trying to wrestle with the idea of a plug-in hybrid with the numbers that we have here. And I just can't get it to make sense, at least on how Toyota does things. I mean, I have some other plug-in hybrids on this list here that, the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE hybrid has 134 horsepower and about a 300 pound-feet of torque motor. That would get the job done. It would absolutely get the job done on a Tundra, even though 134 horsepower doesn't sound like much. I drove the Volvo XC90 T8 Recharge with a very modest I think it was around 70 horsepower, and I was able to get around and never kick into gas mode, keep up with traffic, get ahead of traffic, not using the twin charged 4-cylinder engine with just 70 horsepower, because electric motors, you got the instant power and the good torque response. So I just don't think this is enough for such a large vehicle like the Tundra for a plug-in hybrid. But like you said, they might skip that and go fully electric.
Well, it'll be interesting to see based on what's going to happen over the next couple of years, I suppose. I mean, Toyota runs on typically a 6-year cycle with a 4-year refresh. Of course, on the Tundra, it end up being double that.
Yeah, it's right? Double. Well, and the Land Cruiser's a long refresh cycle too.
Super long, yeah.
So it's their truck platforms, they want to last at least 10 years is what I'm used to seeing. So
yeah, there should be a refresh in about 4 years, 3 to 4 years time, which makes it exactly 2025. So that's why I think the EV will come out in 2025 with some changes to the powertrain.
Yeah.
So there's not too many questions, right? Thought maybe there will be more questions. But again, this is my first time I'm joining live streams. I don't know how this works exactly.
Yep.
But if people have questions, they can write it. I guess it moves pretty quickly, so hard to keep up.
Yep. Thank you guys for being respectable in the chat. I know most of you, like 99% of you, are being pretty respectable, and I appreciate that. So will David and I buy one? Well, David potentially, absolutely. I mean, he's looking at multiple pickup trucks, but go ahead, David.
Yes, I already put deposits. So it works a little bit differently here in Canada compared to US. In the US, they won't take deposit until the allocation is available. But here, you can put a deposit to give you the first right of refusal. So even if the dealers don't have allocation, I can put a deposit and my name is on top of the list. And so I've done that with 3 dealerships because I have a really good relationship with Toyota dealerships here. I own a small company, engineering company that has 6 company cars, and we swipe them every year. So I buy about 4 cars a year. So I end up, developing really good relationships. So I put a deposit in all 3 dealerships so that hopefully I'll be one of the first ones to get the Tundra. So I'm definitely trading my Tacoma for the Tundra. Based on everything I know, it's a much bigger truck, and I'm going to do a video on why I'm doing it. But so I don't know whether I will go with something like a Platinum if it becomes available in December, or do I wait longer for TRD Pro? I haven't decided that, but I will hopefully have an actual Tundra to drive around in a few months and talk about that as an owner as opposed to reviewers. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But you'll be a lot bigger than Tacoma though.
Steve DePass asked about lane keeping assist. Absolutely, lane tracing is standard with Toyota Safety Sense 2.5. Why not latest Toyota Safety Sense 3.0?
3.0 is not out yet.
Well, it'll be out with the Lexus NX.
Well,
yeah, 2.5 is still really good. So
yeah. I think they're going to keep the newer one for Lexus and keep the slightly older one for Toyota. I think it's just a marketing thing.
That's typically how it's been in the recent history too. A lot of people
keep saying Toyota ad is running now. Is that on like on Toyota?
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's running right now. I have the game pulled up. It's running right now.
Is it the same one that we just saw?
Yeah, it is. So
okay.
The public guys that's not you that are live streaming we're all freaks about cars. The general public are seeing the video right now with all the Toyota products born from Invincible right now. From the racing heritage, whether it's on the track or off-road, their legendary reliability with the Land Cruiser and the Marty McFly truck they're showing right now, the Tundra's towing capacity, stuff like that. So that video is just unbelievable. I don't even hear the music right now, and I just got even more goosebumps. Like it is just.
You're gonna have to buy one then, actually, Kirk.
I'm not gonna buy one. You don't
need a truck, right? No,
I'm a minivan or my wife really enjoyed when I had the 2021 Trd Pro Sequoia. She really enjoyed that vehicle. So maybe a year from now or whatever, we can revisit and do another live stream with the Sequoia reveal or something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I saw a question about the Sequoia. So again, it surprised me there hasn't been any not much speculation other than stuff I talk about in my channel, and there hasn't been any spy photos yet on Sequoia, but it's going to be based on Tundra, right? So it's going to be a SUV version of the Tundra, same engine, same transmission, maybe it's a different suspension for the rear, but with similar suspension in the front, and the interior in fact should be very similar because that's what they did with the current Sequoia, and it should be out next fall. So I think a year from today, the Sequoia will be out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but I know a lot of people commented, they want the Sequoia to have 2 body length like a General Motors trucks, like a Tahoe. But I don't think Toyota's going to do that. Toyota doesn't like to give too many choices. They like to consolidate their options to make it simpler and easier to produce. So I think it's going to probably be larger than the current Sequoia, but I doubt there will be a Sequoia and a Sequoia XL. I don't think they'll do that.
No, I don't think so either. Well, yeah, I mean, Toyota's also working on the Grand Highlander, so they're going to have all their bases covered with large crossovers. People are asking about miles per gallon. Miles per gallon is not communicated yet. From my source, who I obviously can't say what part of the industry he works on, what works in, or what he works on. But I'm hearing 27 to 30 miles per gallon on the hybrid. But wait for official EPA because things are subject to change. So,
one person asking about the Ford EcoBoost versus the Toyota. Well, none of us have driven the Tundra with the 3.5, so it's a lot hard to comment. But I had the Ford F-150 3.5 about a month ago as a press vehicle. And actually, the engine was amazing. I was surprised and shocked how smooth it was, the delivery of it. It felt like a small V8 engine. It didn't feel like a twin-turbo V6. And in terms of the overall performance, it was fantastic, actually. So if the Tundra feels anything like it or better, people will be surprised. I know everybody's so upset about the V8 engine, but on a real-world condition, turbo engine just feels better, right? It performs better. It picks up really quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah,
I hope that people will wait and drive it. And then I guess all of us will find out shortly whether it's going to be a good engine or not to drive.
Lower trims hybrid available. I believe. Here, let me check my other source here over here.
Yeah, some people are asking
I think
about.
it's only going to be on the higher trims, probably limited and higher. I don't think it'll be available in the SRR and the SR5. Almost 100% positive. I don't know if we have exact information about which trims it's available on. Obviously, that will change over time as well. Like, there'll probably be a time in like 10 years from now, 9 years from now, where the standard is the iForce Max. So,
Yeah, some people are asking about the boxed frame, and that's also a very typical question. And from what I don't know if they told you, Kirk, but I think it is a fully boxed frame on the new Tundra because it is on the Land Cruiser. Did they talk
so
about
yeah,
that?
they so I'll just read the press something from the press release. It says improvements and enhancements abound, including its new high strength boxed steel ladder frame, aluminum reinforced composite bed, and fully redesigned multi-link rear suspension. So hopefully that answered.
It's a very similar frame as they already showed on the Land Cruiser because again they're both TNGA platform, F platform. So I guess I expected that to be the same.
Yeah. It is absolutely not unibody. Somebody said unibody, and it's body on frame.
It's definitely not unibody.
No.
But it's a good question though. Would Toyota actually ever bring a unibody truck like Ridgeline? That's something I always thought about. I doubt they would do it. But if they came up with like Highlander or RAV4 based unibody truck, it probably will sell like hotcakes.
Well, here's the thing: people have a craving for that really small pickup truck, and that's why the new Maverick is coming out in the Santa Cruz, which the Santa Cruz is the fastest selling vehicle in America right now that hits dealer lots. It doesn't it spends like 8 days on a lot before it's sold. So Toyota could absolutely benefit from having an adaptive TNGA-K platform with a bed on the end of it. With its hybrid to compete with the Maverick's front wheel drive only. Toyota would make it all wheel drive standard and have a one up there and still provide 40 miles per gallon. But yeah, Toyota's not really the one to be first to the game with much of anything. So they might have something planned, but I actually haven't heard anything in terms of the rumor mill. So
I don't think they'll do it. And like you said, Toyota is a follower, not a leader. Most people think Toyota is an innovator, but they're actually a follower. They wait for everyone else to make the mistake. They watch what's going on, and whatever that's working, they will follow suit really quick. Whatever is not working, they won't do it. They're the smartest business people in the world, right, in terms of strategies. So if the Maverick and the Santa Cruz takes off, they will probably do one. But if they don't take it off, then they won't do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, if they see like that segment really heating up after 2 or 3 years and sales are still really high, yeah, they might have something. I mean, Honda's kind of interesting because they just came out with their off-road performance. The name is eluding me right now. I should go to the Honda media page, but they had it's like their TRD Pro. It's not HPD. It's their own off road. They're gonna have higher lifts. They're gonna have skid plates
on the Ridgeline, right?
Yeah, the name's eluding me right now. It's something sport, Trail Sport. It's gonna be called Trail Sport. Right, so they're gonna have a Passport Trail Sport, which is terrible naming.
It is a terrible
Passport Trail Sport, but they'll probably sell a good amount of them. You know, there are a lot of diehard Honda people out there, and they would love to have more capable off-roading vehicles. So I think it's smart of Honda. It's not going to cost them a whole lot more.
Kirk, anything on the tailgate in terms of like easy access or a multifunctional tailgate? I think some people were asking about that too. Did they show anything like that?
The tailgate is one piece. It doesn't have a transformer vibe to it. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but it's really lightweight, like we've talked about.
Yeah. But what about not even like a stepping stone that will come out, or one of those?
Okay, so about the step. Yeah, great question. So there is it could be dealer installed or it could be factory as well. There's a step. So I mentioned earlier, there's a button on the left So the driver's side rear tail light. There's a button that opens the tailgate. Well, you can also get this option that's a little step that sits underneath the rear bumper that pops out when you push that button.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's tucked in up under the rear bumper, which by the way is very sleek. It looks more like the Santa Cruz's bumper without the etches out of it. It's built into the body. There's no bumper sticking out. It's streamlined and it's very aerodynamic.
But is it electric? Is it actually electric?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is. Okay. So that's new then, because right now on the
It's new.
Tacoma and Tundra, you can buy hydraulic based stepping thing where you kick it and it comes down and you can use that to step into the bed. But if they made that into electric, that's way better.
It's electric. It's electric. Just like the running boards. The Platinum that I played with a little bit, it had electric running boards, which I could be wrong, but I've never seen it on a Tundra before. David, have they had electric running boards that pop out? I didn't think so.
Never had it. Yeah. We have it on the 4Runner. So I had a 4Runner Nightshade Limited, and it's the only one that had the power running board. And so every time you open the door, it comes down, and you close the door, it goes up again. To be honest, I found it really annoying. Because every time you open the door, it comes, it makes this noise, right? This big hydraulic noise, and oh my goodness, drove me nuts, that thing. But on, I don't know, maybe on the Tundra, it'll be nice to have that.
Yeah, it is nice. Well, you can hardly tell it's on the Tundra. It's really, really sleek. It sits right on the body, it looks like, so you can hardly tell it's there. You can have it set to auto, so it's just like power folding mirrors. You can set it to automatic if you want. When you open the door, it'll pop out, or you can set it to off or on or automatic. So it's the same thing as power folding mirrors and how it works. There's a little switch in there, kind of where the heated steering wheel button is on the left-hand side, on the dash there, left-hand side where the, auto high beam button would be. But yeah, they have a little toggle switch there for the electric running boards on I don't know what models it on, but I tested it on the Platinum. So
some people are asking about 6-passenger configuration. Did they talk about that?
No, I don't believe there's a 6-passenger.
Yeah, I didn't think they would offer that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't. That's also another common question in my channel too. People really wanted the 6-passenger.
People want that bench seat.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, no,
it would be cool to have
coming.
it, but yeah. And then people are asking about MSRP, but obviously there's no pricing information. And I mean, I would assume that it's 5 to 8% more than the current pricing, maybe a little bit more for the new Platinum, but they couldn't have raised it much more than that just to stay competitive in the market, right? So
I don't even know what the base MSRP of the Tundra is. 34,125 American dollars before destination.
That's for the SR, right? That's for the base.
Base. Yeah. So it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. I would say it's starting at 35, 36 before destination.
Probably. My guess is it's 5% more than 21s, and then maybe on the higher trim, but they have so much more standard features, it might be more closer to 8%. But we'll find out, I guess, in a month. I guess we'll know in about a month or so.
Yeah, and I didn't see the base screen either. So there's I think it's 8.9 inch screen and then also the 14 inch screen.
So nothing in between, right? It goes from the 8.5 or 8 point something to 14. There's no 12.3 inches in the middle.
I don't think so. I'm gonna look real quick.
I don't think so either. But like most of you guys, we're still trying to sort this out right now.
It's an 8 inch. Yeah, they say 8 inch. Standard is 8 inch. So I'm assuming it's 8.9 inch that we're going to see as well in the Lexus NX as the base, which is still a really nice screen. And it's going to still have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Like the 14 inch is definitely a luxury. It's the same thing as having a bigger TV in your house. It's not going to have more functionalities. It's going to be bigger. That's it.
So I'm trying to read some of these comments, see if there's any other questions. Toyota Tech Center is located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been to that place quite a few times. Most people don't know, but I lived in Michigan for a couple of years. At the time, I was working for General Motors engineering. So people always think of me with Toyota, but I did work for GM at one point, and I actually really enjoyed working there. But yeah, mile per gallon estimate we talked about previously. Color. People ask about the color. Any insight on that one, Kirk?
I don't have a lot of insight on it. There's like the smoked mesquite color, which is like a sparkly brown. I saw the high contrast red that we talked about earlier. That was on like the TRD Avalon. I can't think of the name of it right now. You probably know it.
Yeah, I also heard that one of the spec that leaked out said there's a blueprint.
Yeah,
for
the blueprint. The blueprint is on there. Yeah, the blueprint's on there, which is like a dark blue sparkle.
Right, it's on the Highlander and the RAV4 right now. I don't know why they have the blueprint and nautical blue on the 4Runner. They're both so similar.
They're very similar, yeah.
It's really strange.
I met TRD John at the event, and he really liked that blueprint color. Like he's thinking about buying a TRD in that blueprint color, and it's a good looking color. I mean, color is very subjective to me. Like the Nightfall mica on the Lexus end is a better color, and so it wasn't that impressive. It was still a pretty color, but it wasn't that impressive to me. But everyone's different, so everyone sees different colors. Everyone's eyeballs are different. Everyone's preferences and likes are different. So
I have a Lunar Rock, right, Tacoma. So I love that color. So I would love to have that on the Tundra, which I know it's going to be offered, but I don't know if they told us which models will get the Lunar Rock. I'm not sure.
Any model that can have the TRD Sport or Off-Road or TRD Pro is going to be able to have Lunar Rock, I'm assuming, because I saw on an SR5.
Okay.
TRD Sport, yeah.
But the TRD Pro is going to have the usual magnetic gray, midnight black, and then super white. And then then there's one special color, which is going to be the red color, right?
Well, it's the orange. It's the Solar Octane. Yeah.
So would there be another color, you think?
Not, well.
Because usually it's only
you're probably right.
So usually
you're probably right on that.
And one special color, right?
Yeah, I now that you mentioned that, I don't think Lunar Rock will be available on the 2022 Pro.
But you know the funny thing is the 2022 Sequoia TRD Pro has Lunar Rock still.
Yeah.
It's really odd because that means for 2022 we have Lunar Rock for Sequoia. We have the Solar Flare red for the Tundra, and then the of course Tacoma and the 4Runner both have lime-ish greenish color with two different names. They're not quite the same.
They're different,
Yeah, so lime metallic.
They're not making it easy on us.
No, so they got 4 different TRD Pro colors for 2022, which is not what they always had one special color. So it's really weird they did that for this year.
Yeah, they're not making it easy yet. Electric Lime, Lime Rush, Solar Octane, and Lunar Rock. Like, I don't know, whatever. I'm glad to have new paint colors. I'll just say that, and they're not boring paint colors by any means. I think Lunar Rock should never go away. I think that's one of the best colors Toyota's ever had. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. Interesting. Let me see. Is there any more questions over here? Someone said color is at the bottom of the press release. I guess so maybe way down at the bottom there. Oh yeah, it is a long press release.
It's long. Yeah, wow. we didn't even get halfway through it.
There's a seat storage. Some people asked about the seat storage. So there's one.
Oh, here, yeah.
Yeah, I expected that.
Yeah. It's not available on the hybrid, of course, because that's where the batteries are.
No space, yeah. I don't know where it is. Do you guys know where the color is listed?
Oh, here we go. I think I found it. So super white windshield pearl, magnetic gray metallic, celestial silver metallic, midnight black metallic, supersonic red. I think that's over the red color we were trying to remember earlier. Army green, another amazing color. Lunar Rock, blueprint, smoked mesquite, and then Solar Octane. So there it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, great question.
And it's funny, right? The super white, because Windshield, they moved away from the Blizzard Pearl because of the paint. There was a paint problem, quality problems. So even
Interesting.
even Toyota does have problems. So many of the models now switched over to Windshield from the Blizzard Pearl.
Hmm.
My wife and I like white, so almost every Toyota car we
Hmm.
have is a Blizzard Pearl.
Yeah.
But now they introduced a Windshield on the Avalon first, and it's a slightly off color white, slightly different. It's not as
Hmm.
white as a Blizzard Pearl, but they have a super white, of course, which is pure white, and Windshield, which is a metallic white. Everything else is not a surprise other than the supersonic red and the solar octane. Those are the new colors.
Hmm.
And the blueprint, sorry, blueprint is
Blueprint's cool.
also
Yeah.
new. But
Yeah.
yeah, army green is it's not my cup of tea, but
Sure.
it looks really nice though on the trucks.
Yeah. I agree. No, I think it's a good color. It needs to be there. It's a masculine, tough color, and I think it should be there on the trucks. Absolutely. Yeah. So I didn't know about the colors until right now because on the press release that Toyota shared with me a couple weeks ago, I don't see anything about the paint colors. So thanks for pointing that out. Whoever pointed that out. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever you were. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So someone asked about windshield similar to the Lexus white. It's a little bit different. The Lexus white is a little bit different from the windshield pearl.
Yeah.
They did something
Well,
with the chemical
which
mix.
white are you? Yeah, I mean they're so similar. You'd have to get them side by side to tell the difference. Just like probably the lime rush and the electric lime.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that the Forerunner has a lime rush color, to be honest. It doesn't, I'm sorry, it doesn't look good on that car. But anyway, who knows? Maybe it will sell well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the lime looks. If I had to pick the lime, it looks better on the Tacoma than it does the
I think
Forerunner.
so. I guess
But
it's a
that's
cool
just
color. Maybe it's a cool color to see it on the road, but I wouldn't want to own one that's so lime metallic-ish color. But anyway, that's
no
my personal opinion.
right. No, it's. I'm glad they have it. I'll just say that I'm glad they have some spice and some zest in their colors now. So it's good. Some of you are asking about. Well, maybe I brought this up. The Trd Sport. So it's available on 4x2, 4x4 SR5 models, and the Crew Max and double cab. So this is some of the stuff I'm learning for the first time. It includes the addition of 20-inch TRD wheels, TRD grille, TRD Sport lowered sport suspension, a TRD leather shift knob.
Hmm. Yeah, you know, the funny thing is that the TRD Sport always had the larger 20-inch wheels that's similar to the
Mm-hmm.
Limited. And then the TRD Off-Road obviously gets the same tire and wheel as the TRD Pro in terms of size, right? The 18-inch. But the Sport is, I
Yeah.
find it always strange they call it Sport because TRD Sport is almost like a muted Limited. You know, it's got the same type of highway, kind of highway friendly tires, and it's not really sporty. It's more luxury than sporty. But
Yeah. It's good to have
um,
options. I'll just say that. And
mhm.
speaking of, so you mentioned that previously the TRD off-roads had 18-inch wheels. Well, there's some change to this. So the TRD off-road package is available in the SR5, the Limited, and 1794 models. It includes the 18-inch wheels
Mhm,
on the SR5 only,
mhm.
but on the Limited and 1794 you get 20-inch
Right.
TRD off-road wheels.
Yeah, that's the same as before. The
Okay,
Limited,
okay,
Platinum, and 1794 always had a 20-inch wheels,
okay,
and they never
perfect.
nothing else was offered on those models before. So, and the TRD Sport always had a 20-inch wheels, and everything else was always 18. So that's the
Okay,
same.
perfect.
And I think they switched to Falcon tires for TRD Pro, but I don't know
Yeah.
about the Limited and the 1794. Did you see what kind of tires they had by any chance?
I could look at my images right now to see what those tires were.
It's usually
Um,
the Bridgestone tires on the 20-inch, but I don't know if they changed it. Alexa now or something. It's the standard tire that almost every car company uses on a sort of a truck or SUV type
here we
models.
go. Wild. peak. What is this? So this
Vulcan
is
Wild.
a
So yeah, that's a 18 though. That looks like a 18.
This should be the 20
Is that a 20?
because it's on the
Really?
1794. Yeah,
Huh. They have a wild, but that's a
made in
TRD
Japan.
wheels. Interesting. That looks like 18 to me, but I could be wrong. See if you can read the tire size. Might be hard to
There you
do
go,
that.
20 right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so the 20-inch has kind of a 18-inch look then, because it's got the
Yeah,
old
they look the
black
same. No, they look just like the 18-inch
Interesting.
wheels. That's why it's like it's really hard to tell the difference unless
it's a wild peak, right?
Yeah,
It's Vulcan also.
yeah.
Interesting. It looks good. It looks like a TRD Pro wheels.
No, it looks great. Yeah, no, like I'm happy with them for sure.
Yeah, so it's Vulcan, right? It's Vulcan Wild Peak, right?
I don't know anything about tires, but yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
What
It's
can you
Vulcan.
see what?
Yeah, it's right here. Falken. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it
It's right
Wild
there.
Peak? Can you see
Yeah,
it?
it's Wild Peak. It's right here.
Okay. Okay. But Wild Peak has a couple of different models though. So
The Wild Peak AT all terrain and AT3WA.
AT3WA. Okay, so that's interesting. So it is the same as the TRD Pro then. Oh no, it's not the same. Yeah, that's a different one from the one that's on TRD Pro. The TRD Pro, so Falcon Wild Peak, there's a couple different versions. And then this is
Here's
the more
TRD Pro. Yeah.
This is more street friendly. This is more street friendly tires.
Yeah.
And then the one on the TRD Pro, it should be a different one.
Yeah, it's it doesn't have the A attribute. So so
this is AT, which is all terrain. So you can tell the tread pattern is way more aggressive, and that's more street tire. So that's typically what they do on the limited and platinum. They put kind of street, the street tire with less aggressive tread, and then on the TRD Pro they put basically off-road tires. But even the Falcon Wild Peak ATs are still not as super off-road capable as something like a KO2 tires, which is what a lot of off-roaders like to use. It's a slightly milder version, so it's still catered for comfort as opposed to off-roading.
Yeah, so I mean the tires are very similar. They both are ATs, but the TRD Pro has the AT3W, where the TRD Off-Road has the AT3WA. So whatever that distinction is, definitely more of an on-road tire compared to what we see on the TRD Pro.
Yeah, interesting. Good-looking wheels, though, for sure.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, you can just see how similar these 20-inch wheels look to the 18-inch wheels.
Those are the 18-inch ones is matte black, and I guess the 20s are gloss black, looks like, right?
Yeah, they have gloss partitions of them, like right here, and this part as well. But this is more of a matte, and this alcove. So they do look really similar. I mean, the TRD also has the red surround and the hubcap compared to the TRD off-road. So only like a trained eye would be able to tell the difference, to be honest. But yeah,
looks cool. Well, that is great. That is amazing. There's still people hanging around, so thank you for that.
We still have 800 people. It's amazing. Thank you guys for sticking it out with us. Mike Wellington, again, he said, nobody else noticed they finally added a driver's side A-pillar grab handle for the 2022.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while now.
Yeah.
That's the earlier spy photo show, the grab handle on the driver's side, and I think people are really happy about that. It's the little details, right?
Wasn't there one on the Sequoia? I could be wrong.
I don't know about the Sequoia, but it's not on the 21 Tundra.
Interesting.
Driver's side is missing. It's really annoying, actually. So that's why they wanted that back. I don't have it on the Tacoma either. There's no driver's side grab handle only. So you have it's really, really awkward. I mean, not on the A-pillar, I should say. So it's really
I'm gonna look up my my Sequoia TRD Pro footage to see if there's an A-pillar grab handle.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
There probably isn't.
Yeah. Composite bed is clearly way better. People.
Oh yeah, there is. There's an A-pillar grab handle.
Oh, really?
Here, I'll show it to you. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So maybe it's on a Sequoia, but not on the Tundra. Isn't that weird?
That's what threw me off because I'm like, well, I swear there was one on a Toyota truck that I drove. So, yeah, there it is.
Interesting. Okay. Well, they decided to put on the Sequoia, but not on the Tundra.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's all cost reduction. Sometimes
That's all cost. Yeah.
when Toyota shifts options and features back and forth, it just sometimes doesn't make any sense. But there's usually some kind of cost factor to do with it.
So yeah, everything's cost when it comes to Toyota. What are the hydraulic cab mounts? So in the higher trim, the cab is mounted hydraulically, and limited and above. So that's going to be 1794 as well as the Trd Pro as well as the Platinum. The cabin is mounted to the frame with hydraulic cab mounts. I mean, I don't know a lot about. Obviously, this makes it a smoother ride. But David, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of see the actual mount to comment with details, but it's basically, it means that usually between the frame and the body, there is some kind of a static item, right? Like basic some kind of mount that doesn't move. If it's a hydraulic mount, then it actually cushions the shock because it's mechanically moving. And so it's going to produce a lot less vibration and shocks when the truck has to go over some, bumpy road and so forth. So it's not unique to Tundra, but it's pretty rare. They don't usually do that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think of motor mounts, and yeah, I'm sure there are hydraulic motor mounts out there, but none that I can think of. But I'm just thinking, it's just going to make.
There is, yeah, a lot of engines are on the hydraulic mount because the engine vibrates a lot, but it's rare to have it on the cabin.
There you go. So yeah, I'm just trying to make the similarities of reducing vibration. I think a lot of vibration with an internal combustion engine, and they're just maybe porting some of that technology over to the cab to reduce the vibration for the passengers. So,
did they say which model has the air suspension? Must be the Platinum and 1794, probably.
So actually, the air suspension is an option on the Limited and above. It is not available on TRD Off-Road or TRD Pro.
Right.
So it's Limited, Platinum, and 1794. And the air ride is only in the rear. It's just rear suspension, and it's only you can have. There's two switches. One switch is for manual, so you can set the ride height as you want it.
Right.
And of course, when you get up to speed, it's going to neutral itself out. And then there's an automatic switch that will automatically level with your trailer. So.
People are asking when those hydraulic mounts need to be replaced. Yeah, that really depends a lot on how you drive and the type of road condition. They're supposed to last a lifetime, but of course they don't. But if you're not, most people don't drive over bumpy road every day, so that's why they last a lifetime. But yeah, I suppose if you're driving on a very bumpy road every single day, 7 days a week, then yeah, those mounts can wear out. But they usually last a lifetime.
Yeah, in Florida, they'll last until 1,000 years. We have no bump.
I know you guys have such a smooth road.
Yeah. It's a baby's bottom roads down here. So Canada, Nebraska, you might have some differences there in how long they last. So great question. Well, it's about 10:30, so we've been doing this for 10 hours. What do you think? Maybe 10, 15 more minutes to answer questions, and then we call it a night?
I think so, yes. Yeah, it's been a long night. Usually I have to go to the washroom every half an hour, but I didn't go once yet, Kirk.
Well, yeah, that's impressive. I haven't gone either. So, I mean, we're just, our focus is elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we're so intrigued by Tundra that I haven't eaten anything. I haven't only drank water for the last 2 hours, I guess. So it's interesting. It's like watching a really good movie. You just stay focused on it, right?
That's right. Someone just asked me about gear ratio. I don't think that will be communicated until just before the release.
Okay.
There's another. another
Mike.
question I saw. Yo, Mike again throwing me 10. Mike's has got deep pockets. That's all I'll say. Yeah, he says he's heading out. Great live stream. Off topic. He put a deposit on the upcoming RAV4 XLE all-wheel drive for the girlfriend. So I'll let you know how that goes. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a good price for it. And yeah, I know things are tough right now. So hopefully it comes in on time. His 19 LE is still the best car he's ever owned. So the 19 is the first year for that generation of RAV4, no? And it's, I mean, obviously it's only a couple years old at this point, but it's...
Yeah, 19 is the first generation, yeah.
It's still held up extraordinarily well from the sounds of it, and build quality right up there with the best. So, yeah. No, it's exciting times for Toyota. I think they're firing all cylinders with this Tundra. And it'll be exciting how sales go. A lot of people, David, I want to get your professional opinion on this. A lot of people are talking about, well, Toyota Tundra sales are terrible. It's just like the people who say that are comparing it to the big three, who sell a lot of fleet vehicles, who also have massive production capacities. And Toyota doesn't want to have massive. They're happy with 200,000 trucks per year.
It's
so go ahead and talk about this for a bit.
So I was very honored to have met every single president of Toyota in the last 30 years. That's the Toyota Motor Japan. And I always ask these 2 or 3 standard questions. Do you want to become the biggest car company in the world? Do you want to become the most profitable company in the world? That kind of questions. And they always, do you want to have the largest volume in the world? And they always say that's never ever being our mission. We want to produce cars that people love and people enjoy to drive. If that makes us the largest car company, so be it, but we're not after volume. We're not after volume, we're not after size. So it turns out that they are the biggest car company in the world right now, but that is not in their vision. So I think they have calculated exactly how many Tundra they have to produce in San Antonio, Texas, to make it profitable, but also a good balance between quality and speed and mass production versus having the right amount of quality control. And they have already calculated the margin and so forth, and they're happy at a certain volume. What most people don't realize is that, let's say you calculated all the engineering method for, let's say, $200,000 a year, and for whatever reason the car suddenly sold at a 300,000 volume, they can't switch. There's only a margin of about 10% up and down without building a new factory or adding a new line. So if they calculate it out to be, let's say, I don't know what the volume will be for 2022 Tundra, assuming 150,000 to 180,000, let's say, then they're not going to be able to produce that much more, even if it did take off and start selling. And that's all in the strategic plan that they have. They're not trying to sell 500,000 or 1 million Tundra, because they are selling 400,000 RAV4 and they're selling 250,000 Highlander. They're very happy with that. It's the mixture and the balance of the entire portfolio, just like a good stock portfolio, that brings the right amount of balance of profitability and volume and balancing the size to the factory. So it's not in their vision to produce huge number of full-size truck. That isn't necessarily their vision. And they have everything calculated in advance to figure out what that makeup is. Another somewhat related question is, are they, because they moved the Tacoma from San Antonio, Texas to the 2 Mexican factories, people are asking, well, there must be a huge gap. So are they going to then add, they're going to add the 4Runner, bring it from Japan to San Antonio? They're not going to do that because the 4Runner is a global model, not a North American model. They're only going to produce in San Antonio, Texas, what's going to be for North American market. So that's Tundra, the new Sequoia, which is moving from Indiana to San Antonio. And those two will make up the same volume as what the Tacoma used to have. And with both Tundra and Sequoia growing in size, right, in terms of volume, because there's a capacity limit on San Antonio, Texas. You can't just double that capacity. So even though the Tacoma have left, the Sequoia is moving in, and both Sequoia and Tundra is going up, let's say 10% in volume, and that's just enough to be on the same volume as before.
Right. Yeah, there would be no room for additional production of another vehicle in San
No,
Antonio.
it's not physically possible.
No.
And Toyota doesn't like having 3 shifts. You can add volume by adding a 3rd shift, but almost every Toyota factory is always 2 shifts because they leave the 3rd shift for maintenance, repairs, and for continuous improvement
Cleaning.
of the
Yeah.
equipment. And so they almost never have a 3rd shift, whereas many North American factories have a 3rd shift added. And so they're running 24/7 practically, and they don't have time to fix defects and problems when it comes up, which is why they have more defects, right, in non-Toyota brands. So anyway, I can talk about factory forever because this is my area of interest.
That's your expertise. That's
Yeah.
your expertise. You've been talking about the lean production system for decades. So, okay. Gary Lee says, David, are transmission fluids really for lifetime? Scotty Kilmer says to change them every 60 to 80,000 miles.
Well, it's a very specific question because it depends on what transmission you have.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does.
That nothing is lifetime, to be honest. And the more often you change, of course, it's going to be better for the transmission or any other equipment you have. But the idea is that, again, it depends on your driving condition. You're living in Florida with mild temperament weather and flat surfaces, and you don't go up and down the hill, you probably never have to change it. But if you do change it more often, it's always better. Same as the engine fluid, engine oil. You know, these days you don't have to change it for 12,000 miles for a year. But of course, if you change it more often, it's better. But it depends a lot on your driving condition.
Yeah. Jay Carter asked if you ever worked for Honda or specifically Sayama in Japan.
I have been to Sayama factory. I have never worked for Honda, but I was offered a job with the Honda engineering in Marysville a couple of times. I didn't take it for whatever many reasons. I didn't want to move to Marysville, Ohio. But I did work for a supplier of Honda in Japan and many years ago. And I have lots of friends at Honda and have nothing but the highest respect for Honda. Those guys are true engineers. They love engineering and technology. A little bit different from Toyota.
Yeah, a little bit different. Yeah, for sure. No, I love talking about Honda on the channel. I know that's something you want to talk about more on your channel in the future. Yeah, a lot of exciting things happening for Honda. Actually, for a lot of the Japanese automakers right now. I wouldn't say for Subaru. I feel like Subaru is one of the more boring Japanese automakers right now. I mean, they have their wilderness. Doesn't get me excited at all. Their electric vehicle is just a rebadging of the BZ4X. Yeah, that's just my opinion on Subaru.
Subaru is basically turning out to be another Toyota subsidiary because I think what is it, 18% or something ownership,
20%,
20%.
Yeah.
So you know, it's nothing wrong with Subaru. They make great products, but it's turning out to be basically a Toyota division. Yeah. So there's another question about the Grand. Where did the question go now? Something about the Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee. Oh, Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I haven't driven it. I look forward to it because, to be honest, American brands make really good full-size SUV and trucks. I'm driving a Chevrolet Tahoe right now with a diesel. You know what? I'm sorry. This is a benchmark. Toyota really needs to step up because it's so much better than the current Sequoia. I don't know about the new Sequoia. But so I haven't driven the Jeep, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to drive it in a month or two.
Yeah, I saw the Grand Wagoneer on the East Coast about a week ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
it looks
like
great.
It's crazy looking. It looks good, and I'm like, I didn't even know these were out yet. That tells you how much I keep up to date with Jeep, and
But they're
Stellantis
expensive.
for that matter. Oh my gosh, they're luxury items, absolutely.
Yeah, so one person commented, Sebastian commented, Porsche uses Toyota manufacturing system. So yeah, actually Porsche is one of my favorite brand. Of course, everyone loves Porsche. Yeah. And Porsche almost went bankrupt, right? 25 years ago, and they hired a bunch of Toyota managers to resurrect them and to help them, and that's how they survive. And they openly tell people when you go to Porsche factory, they openly say right off the bat that we got direct help from Toyota and we use Toyota production system. So That's why their products are actually pretty high up in the quality surveys, right?
Yeah, and the craziest rumors coming out of Japan. I mean, they're old at this point, and take it with a huge grain of salt. It doesn't really mean anything, but the next generation of Boxster or Cayman could be the next Toyota MR2 as well. But I mean, that's just people just speculating after the Supra was collaborated with BMW. So,
but see, Akio Toyota has a fond feeling for BMW. That's why they do it. But I don't think they'll do it with the Porsche. I really don't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because Volkswagen, Porsche's parent company, Volkswagen, is direct competitor to Toyota. So I doubt they would do that.
Definitely I don't. I mean, it would be cool. I guess it'd be cool, but I don't see it happening. Any news on Sequoia? Well, you guys may have missed earlier when we were talking about Sequoia, but Sequoia should be coming late next year. It should be based heavily. Obviously, it's going to be produced alongside the Tundra in San Antonio. So, what you see here with the Tundra, we've been talking about all night. I know I haven't been showing a lot of pictures or B-roll or anything like that. There are hundreds of YouTube videos at this point up showing all that, but it's going to look very similar on the front. It's going to look very similar on the interior, just like it always has with the Tundra. So there's not much to speculate on the Sequoia other than availability and pricing, I guess. So
I did create two rendering, my speculation anyway, of the Sequoia. One that looks more like Tundra, and one that looks more like Land Cruiser. So if you go to my channel, you can see it as well. I mean, to be honest, there hasn't been any spy photos of a Sequoia anywhere. No. So who knows what's going to look like? But I came up with a couple of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it going the Land Cruiser styling route.
I don't think so either.
At all. Even though I'd want to. It
looks good though.
It looks amazing. Yeah, make it look like the GR Sport Land Cruiser, and that thing will be selling like hotcakes. I mean, it's still going to sell well. It'll sell better than the current Sequoia, but man, could you imagine if it looked like the Land Cruiser? Oh my gosh, it's not going to.
I know a couple of people are asking about the diesel. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Toyota will bring diesel for North American market. The whole thing with the Volkswagen Dieselgate basically killed any desire by Toyota management to do that. I know that GM still have it and they still reasonably okay, but it just doesn't make any marketing strategic sense to bring it here. So they're all going for hybrid and obviously EV, full EV at some point. So I think diesel is out, even though they make great diesel engines for Japan and for other markets outside North America. I don't think it's gonna be here.
So this is a topic I love stirring the pot on, since Toyota owns a small portion of Mazda. People like to talk about the new inline six coming from Mazda and our thoughts on it. And could Lexus or Toyota ever collaborate on powertrains together with that inline six? What are your thoughts?
Oh, for the Mazda, you mean?
Yeah, the Mazda. Sorry, yeah. You guys pronounce it different over there. The Mazda or the Mazda MX, or sorry, MX. CX. It'll be all the CX-50, the CX-90, the new Mazda 6, inline six rear-wheel drive based. But the crossovers will have all-wheel drive, of course, standard.
Right.
But what are your thoughts about it? And is there any possibility of Toyota or Lexus benefiting from the inline six in their own lineups?
Yeah, so it's a good question. But unlike Subaru, which Toyota actually owns, like you said, 20%, so there's a very strong engineering collaboration. Mazda is pretty independent still. I've been to the Mazda head office many times, maybe 10, 15 times. And the only reason why they, collaborated on the Toyota Cross is because for that market, for that size, it made sense for both of them to produce in the same factory in Mississippi. But for the larger models, I don't think they're collaborating unless Toyota and Mazda decide to work together on the next the Toyota Crown replacement. But I didn't hear that, so I think it's going to be very separated. It's interesting, right? Under Akio Toyota, Toyota has began to collaborate with way more companies than in the past. Before they would not collaborate with any other brands, but now, BMW, Mazda, of course, with Subaru and other brands too. So maybe in the future they would do more of that with Mazda. But from what I hear, it's going to stay pretty independent.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they teamed up with BMW for the Supra. So anything's possible at this point. Don't discount
possible.
Anything's possible. Honda. I mean, look at Honda. Honda is teaming up with General Motors for electric vehicles.
That's a big surprise, right?
Anything. Yeah, it is a huge surprise. One that most Honda fans are not exactly excited about. But crazy things are happening in the industry with all these forced regulations. It's forcing the automakers to move a lot faster than they've ever moved before.
They have to,
They have to pool together their resources in order to make it happen. So
you have to work together. Otherwise, it's not gonna. No one can survive the current system with all the supply chain issues and everything. So,
oh my gosh, it's a complete mess. It's going to be a mess for at least another year.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little video on the whole chip shortage thing because there's lots of misunderstanding out there. So I'm gonna try to predict anyway my predictions on when it's gonna end and everything. Because there's lots of misunderstanding there. Like most people don't understand that there's two types of chip. The one that car companies is short of is the older chip. I think it's called the microprocessor chips. And people don't want to make them anymore because they want to make the newer generation chip that's used for artificial intelligence and for other intelligent-based technology, smart
and
technology.
Smartphones,
Yeah. So they're all pouring their energy to build that because it's more money in it. In the meantime, the older chips are just getting left behind, right? But
yeah, no, that's true. I didn't think about the old fabs shutting down. Some of the larger nanometer fabs, probably 28 nanometers and larger, are old at this point in time, and they're, because of just how nature works, big fish eat smaller fish. The amount of fabs in the world have completely shrunk. There's I don't know, maybe 10, but the big ones are TSMC. You have Intel, IBM. I think still makes their own chips, and then there's a big drop from there in terms of volume. So yeah, chip shortages. I don't think we're going to see this issue continue to occur, in my opinion, in many years to come in different aspects. So that's just me. I could be wrong.
It's a little hard to sell right now, but I think in 1 year time it will be mostly be gone. The problem I mean, but
I'm hoping so. I want it to be done yesterday, just like COVID. So
you've got another question there, from Jason. Is that right?
Yeah, Jason, thank you for the $5. He says, I've been going back and forth between the channels. He apologizes if you missed this. Can you talk about advanced towing? I'll do my best to pull it up in the spreadsheet, the press release here. But I haven't had a chance to drive the vehicle, and I haven't had a chance to see how their new systems work. There's a system in there that helps auto align the trailer in a straight line. It's kind of like self-parking, but with a trailer. It's really advanced. Since I don't do a lot of towing, a lot of that communication went over my head because I've never really backed anything large up. It's just not something I have a lot of experience in. So David, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this while I try to find the information here.
I have to maybe look into a little bit more to make a comment. But different car companies have come up with all these different technology and method to help both aligning the way you drive when you're towing something and also when you're backing up, right? So I haven't studied this yet, so I won't make a comment now.
Okay.
But I don't.
We can read it together though.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
I found it. So first off, 2 new tow/haul modes available on the Tundra. Standard tow/haul mode increases throttle response and is ideal for lighter to moderate loads such as small box trailers, utility trailers, or small boats. In the Haul Plus mode, throttle response is more aggressive. It's almost like Sport or Sport Plus mode. It's more aggressive for situations when towing large trailers such as RVs, large box trailers, or larger boats. On the hybrids, not only is the electric motor constantly in operation for immediate responsiveness when needed, but the start-stop functions are also deactivated so as not to inhibit performance. So
okay,
yeah,
so what it is when you're towing something, if you have a kind of mild emergency situations, or you need to quickly maneuver out of a situation, or pass a car or pass a truck, then you have to be able to step on it. But there's a delay, right? Because you gotta crank up the power and the torque before you can start moving, because of you're towing so much weight in the back. So what they're doing is they're changing the throttle response, the transmission shift point, and if it's an air suspension truck, then that's also the air suspension setting, so that it's basically, like you said, more like a sport mode. But it's going to be much more aggressive in terms of the throttle response. That's the main thing. And then on the hybrid, they're keeping the electric motor running all in order to make sure that when you step on the gas to move forward or pass a car or to maneuver around emergency situation, there's immediate torque. So that's what they're doing, because when you're towing something, when you step on, if you ever tow anything and you try to pass anything and you step on the gas, nothing happens for about a second or two, because it's so much weight. And so that's what they're talking about then.
I also want to talk about the 360 camera a little bit. It's going to be able to accommodate the trailer behind you. I haven't seen it in action, but we'll see how that works. Also, blind spot monitor accommodates for the length of the trailer. So I think there's different profiles for trailers you can enter into the computer in the Tundra, and that will allow the blind spot monitor to accommodate the size of the trailer you have. So if you have your blinker on and something is in the, adjacent lane of the trailer, the blind spot monitor will be illuminated, even though it's not in the adjacent lane of the Tundra itself, but it's in the way of the trailer. So I thought that was pretty cool. That will be happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There are also new power extending and folding tow mirrors. I didn't see them, but I know that's going to be an option.
Yeah,
I did see the folding mirrors, but not the extending mirrors. Yeah, it's new.
That's new for 22. Yeah.
And blind spot monitor is standard, by the way.
And then there is a backup guidance aid that's pretty typical now in the new trucks.
Yep, with the straight path assist. That's kind of what I was trying to explain earlier. It's designed to ensure your truck and trailer will back up in a straight line. So
interesting. Okay,
hopefully we spent a lot of time with that. But did you want to read the air suspension there?
Yeah. So that's again, this is very typical for any air suspension equipped models to adjust the height based on automatically adjust between the truck and the trailer. So that's pretty standard. There's nothing super new there.
Here's a picture of the screen. These icons are massive. They're super easy for you to touch. Toyota wanted to make it extra large font so you wouldn't be fumbling through this touchscreen to make your actions, lost in translation. So it's very straightforward. It's very fast. All these buildings that you see, these 3D buildings, they're updated using Google Point of Interest. So it's always pulling from the cloud, and it's always updated over the air updates. You will have to pay for navigation on this. So what you're seeing here is paid for navigation. There's probably like a 3-month trial. It's kind of standard Toyota to give you a trial period of their connected services, whether it's Safety Connect or Service Connect, stuff like that. But for this, I believe it's 3 months. And then it's $8 per month-to-month basis, or $80 per year for navigation. It works just as good as Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but it costs money. So I asked one of the representatives, I'm like, why would I pay for this when my phone connects to this wirelessly and I can have CarPlay and Android Auto? And before they could answer, I don't even think they had an answer for it, but before they could answer, I'm like, well, if I didn't want to use the data on my phone, or if I was going on a trip and I didn't know the success rate of the connection I was going to have on my phone. Maybe I was driving through Canada or I don't know, Texas, where you might go through spots of not having great service with your phone. This could probably be a more reliable service, I'm guessing. So if you don't want to use a data on your phone and you want a more secure connection, especially for road trips, I think it makes a solid case. But David, I don't know if you wanted to weigh in on that.
Yeah, not right now actually, because I have to actually be leaving soon. I just got a call from my family member. Then I probably have to leave since I won't be able to comment right now. But yeah, but I know there's a lot of stuff that we probably couldn't go through. But thank you so much for that. So I'm gonna step out for a few minutes, Kirk. I can come back in about 3-4 minutes, and if you're still available, I can
take a break.
Yeah,
take a break. Yeah, we'll end it when you get back. We'll call it a night when you get back.
Great. Yeah, thank
you. All right, thanks. It's just me right now, so thank you guys again for coming out tonight. What colors are available on the 1794? I believe the Army Green is available, but I mean they did talk. It did talk colors. Oh, not the here we go. Hold on. So they don't talk about exactly what colors are exclusive, other than the smoked mesquite is exclusive to these trim levels, the 1794 and the limited, and solar octane, of course, is the Trd Pro color. But Army Green looks like it's going to be available on all the trims. Just taking a guess. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like it's going to be pretty widely available. Whew. Hopefully I have a voice for the next few days. I'm going on a trip to test a vehicle that many of you will be interested in. I can't talk about it. That's a problem with being in the know. I can't talk about it, but I know you guys will appreciate it. And I got a couple more trips coming that I know of later this year that you're all going to enjoy. Of course, one of them will be driving the Tundra. So cement gray. Yeah, I mean, hey, you have Lunar Rock. Lunar Rock's pretty damn good. It's really similar, I think, to cement gray, but maybe better. So, but I hear you. Any power torque? Okay, yeah, we can go over power numbers. I'll pull up the spreadsheet. You know, that's what we can do. The Luxuries Fleet spreadsheet here. Here's the base engine, 3.5 liter, essentially twin turbo V6, 389 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. We don't have fuel economy numbers. I'm guessing around 20 miles per gallon. And there's the iForce Max engine, which is the hybrid, 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. 27 plus miles per gallon is what I'm expecting. So, is premium gas required? No. So all these numbers are without premium. If you put premium in there, you're going to get more power out of this. I'm expecting around 409 horsepower if you put like 93 octane on it. Torque will be about the same from the sounds of it. But if you put 93 or higher in here, I bet you can get over 400 horse pretty easily. So great. Sykes a Pop is in the house. Good to see you, man. He says, great video. Well, thanks to you guys and thanks to David. Like, I mean, it would be pretty boring if I was just here talking about it by myself for 2.5 hours at this point. But thanks to you guys. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Been waiting for this for a long time. I'm so excited to share it with you. I have so many videos coming out over the next 5 videos on the Tundra. One's already out. I don't know how it's being received because there are literally probably 100, 200 videos on the Tundra that dropped at 9 o'clock tonight. I could probably look it up. I'm a little bit curious. I'm also watching the Chiefs game on the side. Multitasking, yo. So yeah, I mean the video is doing well. It's doing well. So I'm glad people are enjoying it. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are. Oh, my key light went out. So that's just telling me it's probably time to shut it out. Shut it out. Turn out the lights. Only 91 octane around you. Okay. Welcome back, David. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to end this soon, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I can't believe we've been doing it for how long? How many hours?
2.5.
Oh wow! I can't believe it. I don't even do a 2.5 hour call Zoom call, so This is amazing.
Well,
People stayed for this long.
I mean, David, when it's just you and I, sometimes we've had Zoom meetings that have been an hour and a half long
That's
without
true. That
people
is true.
asking questions. So
That is totally true.
Yeah.
We love to talk about cars, that's for sure.
that's it. That's it. We're passionate about vehicles. So, but I think we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, again, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I'm sure you have more questions. Definitely stay tuned to David's channel as well as mine. His information is in the description. You can find his Instagram as well as his YouTube channel, Automotive Press. We'll update you guys along the way and share more Tundra, more Toyota videos, and just a lot more content coming from the two of us separately as well as collaboratively, if that's a word.
Yes, yeah,
Fun, good stuff coming. So
it's it's way more fun to be doing this with you, Kirk. So thank you so much for inviting me, and I can't believe so many people still stayed for this long. So thank you for that. We're so excited about the Tundra and everything else, and maybe we'll do another collaboration down the road. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm sure you guys would enjoy it, but thank you guys again, and I'll sign off, and I'll have David go ahead and say his final goodbyes.
Yeah, I just want to say how honored we are to host you for this long, and thank you so much for watching our channel, for Kirk's channel. We're doing this because we love what we do. It's not always about the money, and we just want to thank you so much for watching our videos and supporting us and just being part of the whole community. So we're excited to share the news with you, and there's so much more stuff to talk about in the future. So stay tuned, and we'll continue to do our best to serve you guys. So thank you again.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, David. And thank you guys. That's it. Have a good night. Take care now.
Kirk, do you want to stay for 2 minutes on the Zoom?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
All right. See you guys. It's top secret chat. You guys will never know what we're talking about.
That's right. Well, the secret comes out now.
Yep. That's right. All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.